And we are live. Happy New Year and welcome to season 2 of the Iron Lords podcast, episode number 45. And it's another glorious Sunday, and we are back at the round table on the Lord's Day. We've got a very special guest, PS5 versus Xbox2, potential Xbox exclusive leaks, Nintendo Switch to GOAT, digital Foundry drama, and possibly our 2018 outlook for each platform to discuss. So we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord whose meteoric rise on YouTube in such a short period of time is nothing for anyone to be salty about. This Lord constantly provides high quality content, thought-provoking questions to the community, and although his channel may be deemed Xbox-centric, he's always willing to engage in healthy and intellectual debate to make his points known. Introducing the host of the Saltiest podcast and co-host of both X Power and Loot Chest Radio, the Lord of one of the best intro beats on his YouTube channel, a devoted gamer, and reminds everyone to stay salty, my friends. Making his debut in the realm of the Lords, my man, Lord Saltiest Gaming. How you doing, sir?
Wow, what an intro. I mean, goodness.
The red carpet is rolled. You are in the
Oh my God,
Lords,
dude.
baby.
That was awesome. I might record that and keep it. Goodness.
Much appreciated. Absolute pleasure to have you. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm a little tired because I was up, rocking PUBG with the friends, Got some coffee and I'm ready to roll, man. I'm digging 2018. I think it's going to be a big year for gaming. I love the community and I'm just excited to be on here, guys. I love your content and I love what you guys do.
Much appreciated, man. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Like, I've been following your journey and seeing you doing your thing out there. So we had to get the salty one.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have some fun. So of course, my co-host with the co-most, he's starting his new work schedule. He will be joining us in progress. But of course, we got the most technical gaming Lord, the recent birthday boy and the solo gamer who lives for the single player selfish experience. His Switch Online profile was very heavy this week.
And that's about it.
My man, Lord Sovereign, how are we doing, sir?
Doing great, man. Fantastic. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope everybody had a happy and healthy one.
Too late for that. Happy New Year. It gets no more of those.
We're in the mix now. We're in the business now.
Yeah.
No doubt. Everyone, you enjoying yourself? You've been having fun out here?
Yeah, man. Doing good. I got to hang out with the Lords yesterday, Cognito and Kaibatsu, and shout out to Lord Marlonius for the birthday treat. I appreciate
amazing feast.
That.
My
that was cool.
Born day.
Thank you, sir.
No doubt. And of course, the excess gamer.
Ooh.
The Lord of Combat Sports, who is a man of his convictions and demands nothing less than that premium experience.
Ooh.
Beloved Lord King, how are we doing, sir?
What's going on, people? Oh, listen, guys. I know, the boxing stuff and the UFC stuff. I'm just gonna bring one thing to this year. Then, we're gonna start off fresh next week. Chris Cyborg. You should start fighting men. All right, they should have the crossover fights where you fighting Jose Aldo or these dudes, because I really think you can take these boys. She hit him with those punches that make people defecate upon themselves. I've seen it. I mean, the woman is strong, unbelievable. She's an unbelievable athlete. She's like a once in a lifetime type of generation type of athlete. She's beautiful. God, I love to watch her fight all the time. Beautiful. Missed you guys. I was chomping at the bit. I was going crazy in the house.
The Lords, man.
Yeah, it felt like years. It felt like years, guys. We missed you guys.
This is the round table. This is home. Feels good to be back, and Lord King's in the building. No boxing. I'm surprised.
Well, you know, we have boxing that's coming up. You know, we have boxing that happened. We have a whole bunch of boxing talk that we want to get into. But you know, listen, UFC left a great impression upon me. Chris Cyborg did what she had to do. It was nothing in boxing that looked anything remotely like that. And I'm gonna let her have center stage.
You're gonna let her have a shot.
Yeah. I thought that was a great matchup, though. I thought Dana did such a great job. I thought Holly Holmes was gonna, you know, like push the envelope. I thought it was gonna look fantastic. No.
No doubt.
It looked like a slaughter.
And of course, it is Lord Cognito here, spreading the gaming realness on the ILP. Not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. Feels good to be back, like Lord King said. So before we get into what the Lords are playing, I want to get into Lord Salt, his video game system history, the creation of the Saltiest Gaming YouTube channel, X Power, and of course coming together with some good lords of mine, Lord Brad, All Day Digital, Fonzarelli, and they creating that Loop Chess Radio. So let's start from the very beginning, Lord Salt. Let's start with the video game history. What's your first systems? What got you into gaming?
Okay, so I'm pretty old. I'm in my 30s, right?
Holla for the overlord.
Yeah.
Salute that Lord.
You're still younger than us, bro.
That's right, man.
Hair on your chest.
So I went over to my grandpa's, and he had an Atari, and I turned that thing on, that beast on, and I was rocking the Pong, you know, with my grandpa back in the day.
Nice.
And that's when that itch started, you know, the itch for gaming. So then I went from there to, you know, Nintendo, and then Super Nintendo, 64. So I was a Nintendo dude.
Okay.
And then, you know, I went up from the 64 to the Xbox original, 360, you know, the Xbox One. So you could see where it's going with that one, right? And then, you know, so I've been in the Xbox ecosystem. I had a lot of friends that had PlayStation, so I'd go over there and play their stuff. So I've dabbled in all realms, but you know, Xbox has been the main place for me, the majority of my gaming. But yeah, so gaming, it's been part of my life, my whole life. You know?
Nice. Now, let's get to your beginning of Xbox series. Now, you had the OG Xbox as well, the Duke.
Oh yeah,
the big controller.
Yeah.
Nice. What were some games you were rocking out on those?
I remember going into Best Buy to get that, and Halo was crazy, man. I loved playing Halo on there, and it was mind blowing what you know, what that game was back in the day. You know, if you think about it, it was doing things that we've never seen. You know,
absolutely.
So,
remember the AI? Remember how like smart AI? You throw like a grenade, and you know, so they'd scurry out the way. The little.
What blew my mind is when you turn the flashlight on.
Oh, yeah. And remember, it was on the black camera buttons, right? Remember?
Yeah. The first time you got to the dark, and then you turn the light on the top of your gun. I said, "Oh my God, we're here! We're here!
It's lighting.
We're here!"
Continue, Lord. Continue.
Yeah, and I would, you know, Knights of the Old Republic, all that good stuff, you know. So that the original Xbox has, you know, a special place in my heart. It was just, you know, it wasn't the top dog at the time, but it, you know, they were coming out with something new. I don't know why I picked Xbox, but I think it probably was the Halo situation, because I saw that in I love sci-fi. I'm a big Star Wars dude, so
nice.
Yeah, and I went
I'm
from
gonna
that.
tell you later on in this segment why you picked Xbox.
Shout out to Brad for the chat. He's like, yeah, he's talking about, we know about that Halo, that Xbox. No doubt. So then you transitioned to the 360 pretty much immediately once they brought that bad boy out.
Oh yeah, I'm a big FPS guy, so you know, Xbox 360, you know, was where it's at. I love gaming with the homies, and that's pretty much why I've been in the ecosystem as long as I have, because you know, Xbox Live, the originator, you know, we go through that, and 360 was just it was the place to be back in that.
Absolutely.
You know, during that time.
Yeah, it almost felt like an extension, because it was like the Xbox, the OG, like you saw the innovation, you saw like, you know, the hard drive inside, the Ethernet port, you know, these things we talked about as far as Microsoft innovating as far as from a hardware perspective. And then the 360 seemed like that perfect marriage of now to be getting everything together and with the games on top of it. So it's pretty cool. Now, did that 360 red ring, or you were safe?
No, I didn't get the red ring, so I was lucky.
Oh, what the lucky one?
So,
no doubt.
Rocking out on COD. I was a big COD dude back in the day. So then I kind of transitioned to Battlefield and some other things, but I got the day one Xbox One. I stood out in the rain at Best Buy and got that, $500 system with the Kinect and all of that.
Nice.
And then
salute that man with his day one controller.
And then now I have the X, so that's where I'm at there.
Nice. I see the journey. Now, quick question. So I know you said you started off kind of Nintendo, and where did you fade off from Nintendo? And then the other question I have for you was never any Sony systems? Like you never, like all your friends kind of had it. Like what was the deal?
Yeah. See, so the 64, I love that system, right? We were doing back in the day we'd do sleepovers and do like GoldenEye and Mario Kart racing and Mario Kart, like Mario 64 was arguably one of my favorite games of all time.
Okay. So there's some Nintendo love in there. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like maybe I just grew out of it. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I wanted to get more, I don't know, more change, right? But with the PlayStation, like I said, I had a lot of friends that had them, so I feel like I was balancing it out by getting an Xbox. We could, get the best of both worlds,
Yep.
So, no Sega in there. I haven't heard Sega yet.
Nah, I didn't get any Sega.
No, it's just like it's kind of weird because usually an Xbox dude comes from the spawn of Sega.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know, man. I guess I was
I actually didn't really mess with Sega at all either.
Yeah,
this is kind of it's kind of weird, like hearing it because I'm hearing a lot of people saying it, like as far as like you say the 30-year-olds to like 25-year-olds, some of them didn't have a Sega system but are Xbox heads, and I'm like, what's up with that?
I think a lot of that has to do is PlayStation 2 was so dominant back then, and
yeah.
A
lot of them may not have had Dreamcast. If you're still in your like mid-30s, you may not have had a Dreamcast.
Like I played those consoles, but I never owned one because the PS2 was so dominant and everyone had one.
Okay,
that's a good point. Welcome, Lord Addict, into the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No doubt. So yeah, man. So that's a cool video games history got going on. So then I want to talk about like the creation of the other channel. Like what got you into the YouTube game to create that Saltiest Gaming channel?
I've actually told this story before, but it's interesting. My wife actually, so I have a daughter that's 4. She's almost 5. She's autistic. And my wife wanted to create a channel for the adventures that they went on. So she called it Kenzie Adventures. So they do things like, do whatever they do. They bring a camera along, record it, and she had a channel. And she was like, man, you need to get a channel going for gaming because you talk about it all the time. You watch these podcasts and all this other stuff. And I was like, that sounds, I was just dragging my feet, So finally, I did it, I started the channel. And,
Got you.
I don't know. I had a direction, but I didn't know what I was going to do like most people. And then we had we had a podcast. It was called Dads of Gaming Podcast. It was just
okay. Yep, I heard of it.
You know the funny thing, Salty?
What's up?
Like, let's all laugh for the thought of what we first were going to do with our channel.
Oh, man. Everyone's going to do it.
And then realize that we didn't do nothing like that with our channel. We ended up doing something completely different.
Yeah, it's kind of cringy to go back and listen to my original stuff. I'm like,
I do too. Yeah, I'm like, oh, wasn't good.
But I started doing the Xbox news because it was like I started the channel in June, and then around that time E3 was coming out, and there's news of the we're talking about the Xbox One X and all this other stuff. There's huge amounts of news going on. So I started doing reaction videos on news, and then I started talking to Jay Fonz in his comment section.
Shout out to Lord Fonzarelli. We got to get him on the show. Love his content.
And then we became friends. And then he was like, "Man, I love your content." And then he talked to Zaire, and then I did a debate on his channel with Jay Barry. I think you guys had him on.
Yes, yes, I caught that debate too.
Yeah. So I was fresh. I didn't know what I was doing. Right. I was like, sure, I'll do a debate.
I like that.
And I was going against, you know, a seasoned vet with Jay Barry, and it went.
You was holding your own.
Yeah, it takes a dysfunctional dude to debate, man. I stay away from them.
Yeah,
it was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
no, I'm talking about debating at all. That's just not my forte. Like,
no, I feel you.
Especially with gaming debates, it's kind of a lose-lose situation because, you know,
a lot of it's subjective.
People are really strong with their beliefs when it comes to gaming, you know. So if you give a really good debate, you'll still be in the eyes of the people that you're debating against. So like if it's PlayStation versus Xbox, if I give a really good debate, PlayStation people are generally going to say I took that L, right? You know, so
facts. It's so subjective and so I know what you mean. That's a good point.
So, I pretty much did that, and then it just from there, I was invited to. We did the Saltiest podcast. We started that off, and then I was invited to do X Power. Then I was invited to be a permanent member there. Nice. And then, you know, Fonz wanted to do Loot Chest Radio, and so then we're doing that, and it's just been crazy, man. Like, I love this community, and the growth has been crazy. We hit, you know, 2,000 followers on Twitter, and you know, we're just skyrocketing with, you know, the subs on YouTube. So it's just amazing. It's been an amazing experience.
Absolutely. Just to see your rise, man. I remember seeing you start, and I'm just like, look at Lord Salt go. He's out here these streets, man. Now, real quick, I wanted to talk to you about just the whole science behind the name. I think it's hilarious, number one. So what made you decide, Saltiest Gamer? That's it. That's what I'm rolling with. Like, what made you decide?
You know what? I want to have a brief respect go to him for using the dude that used the salt gif, using that in his.
I love it. when he debuted the new icon, I had to hit it. I remember I tweeted you, and I was the icon, bro. I like it.
That was gold. Salt Bay gave him gold.
So give us the science behind the salt.
So shout out to Jay Fonts for the icon, because he made that. Like I talked to him and we collabed about it, and he you know, that was his inspiration there. So yeah, that's his work. He's a very artistic guy. He's very talented. He's very humble, so he's not going to take a lot of props, but he deserves all the props he can get, right? Nice. But Saltiest Gaming, I can't tell you. Like I said, I'm in the first person shooter. Like, I love shooters, and every time I play shooters with the homies, I get salty as hell. Like, they're just like, man, you're the saltiest guy I've ever met when you play games. And I'm like, dude, I just, it is what it is, right? And when I was thinking about the channel, I'm like, everybody's saying I'm salty. So I wanted to be like the Saltiest Gamer, but that wasn't available, right? So Saltiest Gaming was available on all fronts, and you know, when you're branding your stuff, you want it to be across everything, right? Twitter, YouTube, Xbox, everything needs to stay the same so people know what you are. So that's where Saltiest Gaming came out. Before people knew who I was, they were like, welcome, Saltiest Gamer, and they would just keep saying that, and I'm like, okay, it's okay. But yeah, like the Stay Salty thing came from like I forgot what beer it is, where he's like, stay something, my friend.
What is it? Is it Dos Equis, right? Isn't it Dos
Equis? What does he say? Like, stay
like
something,
my friends. I think like,
stay something like that. And I was like, why do you say stay salty? Stay salty, my friends. And I just say that now, and it's caught on, and
it is stick, man.
Yep.
Nice. That's what's up, man. Good to see the journey, and we like what you're doing out here. And one last question I have for you is, we've been doing this for all the guests recently. I need, Lord Salt, your top 5 gaming franchises of all time.
Oh man,
no particular order, no pressure.
Gaming franchises.
So even if it's just the game itself. I know you mentioned Halo in there, so I'm assuming Halo's in that.
Halo's there. Mario.
Okay.
Definitely there. Let's see. I'm kind of particular to Doom, man, because of where, like, the roots there. So what else? The Witcher. The Witchers. The Witcher's up there for me, and then
one more.
Let's see. I'm thinking, man. I would have to put Zelda in there just because I love the way that game is. So
nice.
Yep.
Okay. Nice. That's some good franchise in there. I'm liking what you got going right there. So that's what's up. No doubt. So we're gonna get into what the Lords are playing this week. Let's start back off with our guest, Lord Salt. So what have you been playing particularly this week? Like what games have you been touching?
I've been, like I said, rocking out on PUBG. It's just when you play that with friends, it's crazy. The stuff that happens, nothing happens the same. So you could get run over by a car. You could get, and we're just clowning, natives in the chat and punks there. We're making jokes and everything. It's just fun. So been rocking out on PUBG. The Devil May Cry. I've been picking. I played the remaster or whatever. It's like the new one that they made. I finished
Game Pass?
Yeah, through Game Pass. And then the Devil May Cry 4, I just started that. I just been bouncing back and forward. I have Assassin's Creed Origins to finish. So I've been working on that. And The Witcher, surprisingly, I've been working on that as well. So that's what I've been playing. Nice.
That's what's up. My co-host with the co-most is in the building. So let's get him going. What you been playing this week?
Actually, I've been playing a lot of man, I'm sorry, I'm kind of under the weather as well.
It's all good, bro.
I've been playing Life is Strange.
I gotta get that. Love the first one.
I played PUBG for like 4 hours yesterday.
Yep, I saw you. I saw you in Anchor, and they're getting busy.
Yeah, me and Big Bad John was playing it.
Shout out to Lord Big Bad John. He is hilarious.
He's actually really beast at PUBG.
He's loving it too. He's getting into it. Yeah.
He killed Code Eastwood yesterday.
What? Y'all was in the same game?
I have a screenshot. It's like we were fighting a team in front of him. John went into a house, and then all I know is John's like, "Oh man, there's 2 people here," and he laid them both out, and one of them was Coast Eastwood.
Play. We got to add Code. I like Code.
I already did. If you look at his tweet, Anchorman said something. yeah, Anchorman started calling him. John said his name was Tubby. Like,
his Tubby. That's an inside joke. Shout out to little Anchorman in the chat. We got an inside joke. I'm gonna tell you, it is hilarious. We are playing PUBG. Shout out to Lord Sinister. This is Big Bad John's first time playing PUBG, right? So we jump in. We land out.
And you're welcome, Blue Hole. We convinced him to buy that on the spot. It wasn't hard either.
We convinced him. We convinced him to pick it up. So we get there. So people start shooting off, Lord King. Right? Everybody's bucking off. So then Sinister tells Big Bad John, "Hey, get down." So he's like, "Okay." He's like, "Go in the bathroom." He's like, "Okay, get in the tub." And he's doing this stuff. we like, "What are you doing?" And he literally scared him into dropping all of his items. It was the funniest thing I have ever seen.
So he's Lord Tubby.
Nicknaming him Tubby.
Oh my God.
Lord Sister's a fool. We were like, "Yo, you are stupid. Scared this noob playing PUBG for the first time."
Get in the tub.
So that's pretty much been it, Lord X, as far as the PUBG and all that.
Yeah, that was I mean, I've been playing a lot of PUBG. I really have. Yesterday, man, I ran over like 3 people in a row. They were like, I was in a vehicle and they were running, and it was one of the last circles, and I just felt so bad because there's nothing these poor people could do. They're in a big open field, and the only thing they could really do is get ran over by me. So,
no doubt. Lord Solve, what have you been playing, sir?
A lot of Switch. I've been working a lot, so a lot of Switch on the go. So I finally finished Mario, and then I went back in and started trying to get more moons and stuff like that. So that's an undertaking. That'll be a little by little thing. What else? So I got back into Assassin's Creed, but I realized with Assassin's Creed, like it's such an undertaking, and I'm so like OCD when I play that game that I want to get to everything. So I'm going to put that on the back burner. And then I've been focusing on Wolfenstein, trying to finish up Wolfenstein. So
yeah, me too. I got to hit that too. Yeah.
So trying to get through the linear game first, and then I'll get back to AC Origins.
No doubt. Lord King, what you been up to? What you been playing?
Oh man, shout out to Chris, Lord Chris King. Shout out to him for getting that winner chicken dinner. I know it's very hard to do so. We've been doing it for a long time, trying to do it. I've been playing PUBG. I've been Destiny so hard. I've been Destiny all day, every day. It's so crazy in these streets right now. Like it got to the point where this one dude had to message me and said, "Who are you?" Who are you? Because I beat the boss by myself. Like I went through the whole board by myself, beat the boss, and there was no input by the other two. It was, "Who are you?" I was like, that felt kind of good. But I've been playing Wolfenstein. Beautiful 4K, 60 frames per second.
Oh, you just started catching.
Yes, pure unadulterated, eye-burning graphics. That's gonna lead into my whole thing, Sir Phil. Sir Phil McCracken. Oh man, our Lord and Savior. Oh, man,
so you promoted Phil again?
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this, man. I'm never gonna get off that train, and I'm gonna tell you why I won't get off that train. My man has definitely done things that has been unheard of in the space of a CEO's situation. You know, a lot of CEOs get canned and terminated for stuff that went on under their regime like that, and to stay firm in them streets, like, you know, like the Sea of Thieves captain that he is, with his foot up like Captain Morgan riding these streets. I'm telling you, why he's taking us to this year, man. This year is gonna be the thing, baby.
2018 is a big year for Phil. Let's just say
PUBG was crazy, right? Let's just take it off this PUBG thing, right? PUBG is crazy, right? You said 2 million in how many days?
They're supposed to have an announcement. They're supposed to have an announcement this week about PUBG. There's something they want to brag about or talk about. Xbox.
Probably 5 million. It's probably 5 million. You see, his leg is up right now. His leg is up right now because you got people playing. I look at my gamers list, which is like, I don't know, probably 200 strong.
Yeah, they're playing PUBG hard, man.
And I'm like, whoa, I haven't seen this since Halo, that everybody's playing one game.
The only time I see that happen is with big AAA releases. Like
and this is a broken game. It's a broken game. Fundamentally, the game is broken. But it's so much fun. And this dude had the foresight in seeing this and saying, this is a must keep. Let's bring this over here.
Shout out to Lord Sam in the chat. He's like maybe 4 to 5 million already, man. Engagement's crazy. Yeah, it's sick, man. It's sick. So yeah, for me, it's been you know me, been still playing that Switch a bit, and it's all about this is the police. I'm trying to finish it. I'm close to the end. You see all the crazy tweets I put out, the stuff I'm doing. If you follow my timeline with that game,
you kind of messed me up one day because you said something. I was like, what is he talking about? Who got arrested? I'm like, what?
Oh man! Shout out to Memphis Studios, man. We got to get them on. They are like that game. The writing is so amazing. The things that happens is just so crazy. I just got rid of a serial killer that was terrorizing the city. Oh man, that game is nuts, man. That game is nuts. I was having so much fun with it. So I've been doing that. I actually got back into Wolfenstein as well, with, like Lord Sarv and Lord King. I got like maybe 2 more levels done. I'm past the halfway point, so I've been trying to rock that. You know, Destiny 2 still been blazing on my solo time as much as I can. As far as the prophecies, getting those done. Those take long, Lord King.
I've been trying to yank you in. I don't want to hear nothing. I mean, I try to respect their space. I'm one of those intrusive gamers, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. Like I see you on and I play with you, like I'm intrusive. I'm spamming you with the join when you join me.
It was a rough New Year's. So I'll just get my little solo game it on for a little bit.
He had to shut me down. He shut me down so hard.
That's why you go offline and you don't hurt nobody.
I know, Lord Saab. I know you recommend that. I'm Lord Saab.
It doesn't hurt my feelings, though. You know, I love the fact. I'm like, go ahead, don't hurt my feelings. Once you hit me with the stop spamming me, bro.
It was just solo time for Lord Cognito. We just need a little solo time. But yeah, shout out first of all. I jumped out my window this week though, because shout out to Lord's Big Bad John Anchorman and Lord Sinister getting me my first chicken dinner. Like it was.
You got one?
Yo. And I literally killed no one.
Man, I love that. I love that too.
You know what's the funny thing about it? The next day, John got a chicken winner in single lobby.
Wow, yo, he's a beast, man. I like the way he played. He's a good. Shout out to Lord Anchorman too. I like the way they're very tactical. It's just they got a good coordination and the rhythm to the way they do things. You know, what I'm saying? I just tag along. I'm just trying to stay alive. That's my thing.
Yeah, I literally seen John like mow down like 2 or 3 squads by himself.
Yeah, man, he's a beast. He's a beast for his first time. He's a beast, man. Like I said, shout out to Anchorman, shout out to Sinister. I like the way they got good synergy as well. So let's get into the poll results. We got it's not last week, so it's officially it was last year. Last year's ILP poll results are in, and the people have spoken. To the question, with the release of PUBG on Xbox Game Preview, should consumers in general expect higher quality from paid early access games? The winner at 54% in a very intense three-way poll is the no. Read the damn game preview disclaimer before you buy. So 54% strong, they was in first, and coming in at close second at 41% was the yes. Game preview is no excuse for PUBG group. And of course, our shallows were in the building. In third place at 5% was the so what PUBG 1,048 hours with more bragging to come. So shout out to all who participated in last year's poll. So what do the Lords think about this? Let's start with Lord Salt, our guest. What do you think about the whole game preview poll drama?
It's interesting that, you know, they were like, read the print or whatever it said. You know, game preview is what it is. It's a medium for these developers to, you know, perfect the game before its full release. And I think that, you know, it's a good thing and it could be a bad thing, right? Because it's a good thing because we can, you know, get these games potentially 1 or 2 years early. But at the same time, does it give these developers some room to be lazy? I think there's some potential there. I mean, they could take their time if they're making that money. You know, they could, you know, potentially, you know, not get the game out in full. I mean, if you're making money, you know, what's the incentive? But I draw the line where it's a really good thing. And I'm glad that Xbox and Phil Spencer and all them decided to put game preview on the system, because even though these games aren't finished, you get to participate in some of these, you know, really popular games that you wouldn't be doing. You know, we wouldn't be experiencing this at this time. You know, Blue Hole came out and said, you know, specifically, if there wasn't game preview and Xbox didn't help them, there's no way that PUBG is on consoles right now. So
Absolutely.
I think it's good.
It's like Xbox didn't even really like helping them is like an understatement. Like they literally made the port. Like Microsoft literally went over there with their own engineering team and made the port.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. Isn't that somebody that's in charge that does that?
Oh my God.
Here we go.
Here we go.
The visionary, baby.
Lord,
be Mike Ybarra.
Yo, listen, yo, you know what? And shout out to his team, Mikey Barra, man. He holding it down. Aaron Greenberg, the squad is crazy, man. His team is crazy. His team is like as a squad. It's like Halo team. He's just a squad.
King working hard for those fan fest passes, baby.
It's not even yo. To be honest with you, to keep it 100 a buck. I just really you're gonna understand what I'm talking about. Why? And you're gonna see why. We're gonna get to that point, and then you're gonna be like, "Damn, man, he really loved this dude."
So we're gonna have a new poll cooking up at the end of the show. So make sure you guys stay tuned. So we're gonna get into these topics, man. We got a lot to discuss. So Lord King, you are leading off. There's a power struggle going on in these streets. Tech. What's going on? Talk to me, Lord King.
All right. Well, what I've noticed, right, for a long time, we have been driven by bits, right? 8-bit versus 8-bit, 16-bit versus 16-bit. You know, who's true 16-bit? When they get that system into the house, we really find out exactly what's going on under the hood, right? And for a long time, Nintendo versus Sega was the thing, and 16-bit and the big cartridges, and it was pushing us forward. And Nintendo knew early on this would be very costly. Sony got into the mix. Sony was very intrusive. They put their face into the mix with the Sega and the Nintendo, and they were like, "Who are you?" And we're the new kids on the block, and you're gonna respect us because we're gonna have more polygons than you. That's when polygons popped up.
Remember that?
What? Polygons. And Sega tried that polygon game, and their polygons really didn't look right. He's like
a little rough.
Yeah, remember when they got their version of Toshinden, and you was like, it just don't look right, though. Stick to your 2D, bruh, your old school self. So we had 3DO, we had people that was trying to get in the mix, and Sony physically forced their way into our hearts. Physically.
Shout out to the chat. Blast processing. I'm dying. Continue. King, I'm saying.
Yeah, blast processing was it. Everybody was looking for that new hook. Nintendo knew early on after GameCube, all right, we can't play this game no more. We can't play this arms race no more. So they technically moved themselves to the left, right? And they went to the side and they were doing their own thing. We're going to keep it about the controller because it was always about how you interact with the video game itself, right? And once Sega hit this dead road where they kept trying to arms race, and Sony was just like so abusive to Sega, they didn't see it coming, and they got first round KO. Dreamcast was a beautiful system. 3DO was too pricey, and we knew EA couldn't hold that that stature. So along comes this Microsoft, and they muddled their way through. They're not who we want them to be. They're not the person that you chose.
Now you talking about the first iteration. You talking about the OG?
Right, the OG Xbox. They're not the person that you wanted. They're rocky, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, against all odds, they're standing in the mix, and nobody really wants them there because they want Sega there. No,
that's facts. Because shout out to Super Deformed Gamecast. I believe they had Seamus Blackley on, and he kind of made it clear, like he was saying that when Xbox got in the game, people laughed at them, like Microsoft's making a system.
They're a joke.
Yeah, it was a joke. People didn't want Microsoft, and I forgot what guest we had on. Actually, it was Rand. Shout out to Rand. When he was getting in the game, and he actually mentioned that he was a Sony dude, and when he heard that Microsoft was making a system, it was like Microsoft. Like, no, you associated them with Windows. Like, you didn't associate. You didn't want them in your lane. Like, that's a good point. Like, can continue.
So now we have a system that is looked at as the Sega wannabe. But just doesn't have the IPs that we want them to have. Why can't Microsoft get those IPs that Nintendo has or Sony has? There's always that question, right? Why? But what Microsoft has been driven by is power. It's always been power. It's always been the power to perform. If it had a hard drive in a box, it had an Ethernet port in the back, it always was showing that, look, we can be here, we're different, we have ideas too, we can bring stuff to the forefront too. So those people that didn't like Nintendo, or that were Sega heads, or didn't like Sony, they went over to Microsoft and they found a home in first-person shooters and teams and groups and stuff, right? So we've always been pushing this envelope with Sony back and forth. Power, power, power. So this generation that came out, the higher ups at Microsoft thought it was a good idea to stick a Kinect in a box and to put us under power with a system that was coming out the same week.
Shout out to the Don.
All right. And that was a fundamental flaw. We're going to go to television.
Remember that conference?
Yes,
it was done with that. Remember the NFL took up so much of it, all this other foolishness, media stuff.
And to end it off, he told you, if you can't afford our system, we got a system for you.
The ultimate disrespect. If you want to be online, if you don't want to be online, we got our own system for you.
We got a system for you. So essentially, I don't know, in his head, he thought that, he was the bee's knees. He thought he was it. It was popping. Brother, they don't want you. They never wanted you. They want Sega.
To be honest with you, after he said that, I don't even know how Don Matrick found a job after that.
He found a job and then he got fired. He got fired from the said job.
I don't even know how he found a job going into that. Like, that must be the worst PR I've ever heard.
I've ever seen it. I've never seen somebody do that. Yeah.
But his team behind them sabotaged him.
And I'm talking about like people who like industries that people get murdered come up with better PR than that. Like, it's like that is legitly the worst PR I've ever heard from any industry. To tell your consumers to not buy the new stuff, to go buy the old stuff. Like,
I remember like it was yesterday. Yeah, Sony capitalized on that.
Look at this, right? You have two systems essentially that's pretty much the same systems, and fundamentally there was choices that was made in a higher up situation that allowed one system to be perceived as way more powerful.
Correct.
Right? And at a point in time where Microsoft had the multi-plat. See, when you have multi-plats and you have the DLC launching on your system first, you can hide a weak lineup. You can hide inside your weak lineup. When you no longer own those cards, you cannot hide that weak lineup. Everybody's yelling, "Where's the games, Microsoft? Where are your games?" But these are the same 3 games we've been putting out every year. But where are your games, Microsoft? You're not Sega. So, and people are begging right now for Dreamcast 2. This is to let you know they're dying for Microsoft to be replaced.
Right.
All right. They're dying for it. If a Sega system came out right now with the same specs as Xbox One X right now, they will be hailed as the second coming. Period.
They got to get off the ground. I don't know what's going on.
But to say that it's not wanted, they're not wanted. And we are fighting to be heard, and we have a leader in position now, making smart moves. Now, as soon as this X dropped, you heard PlayStation 5. What the hell? I thought y'all had your Pro. I thought the Pro was doing it. What happened? No. Digital Foundry has explained and exposed and showed that their checkerboard rendering is not real. That 30 frames per second dropping down to 27 frames per second is not real.
You are out of control right now.
If you want a checkerboard system, go buy checkerboard television because your full 4K is not being used. But we have a system for you. It's called the Xbox One X. All right. So what Phil did was he took away the narrative of power. Right. All right. So Sony said, "Oh, we gotta get that back. We gotta take that back." PlayStation 5 will be coming out soon. So people were like, "Yeah." And then what happens to that X when that 5 come out? Well, just recently, Microsoft has let it be known that they're working on Xbox 2.
Yeah, we got to shout out a Dreamcast guy. Actually, we've had him on the show, and it's people. So pretty much, he's got a friend, an insider that's claims to have inside Microsoft that pretty much the new Xbox is pretty much ready, supposed to be for 2019. This is what the inside source is saying, and that obviously we're gonna take it with a massive grain of salt. No pun intended.
Saltiest.
No pun intended. But yeah. So I mean, basically, to Lord King's point, it's like we want to bring it to the table. Like, one, how do we feel about these rumors? Do we believe it? Two, does it fall in line? You know what I mean? If Microsoft with an immediate counter to a potential PS5. So, Lord King, this is your topic, but whoever else wants to jump in, you know what I mean?
Yes,
this is some juicy stuff. Let's start with Lord Salt. Like, I know you did a video on this, Lord Salt. Like, what do you feel about this?
Hey, I didn't know who Dreamcast guy was, so apologize. I didn't know. Like, first of all, there's a lot of people out there that claim to have sources in this industry that don't. He very well could have, but I did the reaction video based off of the guy that was writing the article. So basically in media in general or in gaming media, we just have to be, we have to do our research before we start, believing things, because it's very easy for people to throw up stuff on the internet and claim that it's true. And then the masses run with it on social media, and then it just blows up. Right. But if you're looking at it, we know that in the console space that the R&D on these consoles takes years. Right. So Phil Spencer's already said that they're working on the next console, right?
Facts. They said that during the X reveal too. Yeah, I remember that during the early stuff.
Yeah. So the timeline, it has to fit into whatever mold that they want for it to fit in. I personally think 2019 is too soon, but maybe 2020, 2020, 21. I think that they want to keep the power narrative. But I also think that PlayStation has a money printing machine in the PlayStation 4, so pretty much they're going to be hitting 100 million consoles within a year and a half. So they're not really rushed to get a new system out there, like what is the motivation for PlayStation to get a new system out is my question. They have the anniversary coming up in, I think, 2020, and people have been speculating on that, but
the only motivation I could see PlayStation even remotely wanting to do that is if like Microsoft legitimately was doing that, because they'd have to respond. Like they couldn't go a whole year and not respond. They couldn't.
Yeah. It brings some interesting discussions, and it's interesting that you said that, because I'm of the same mindset also. Like I think it may be a little too early, but then again, to jump in, shout out to Lord Brap. He had a good rant recently. And you know what it reminds me of, Lord King? It reminds me when 360 came out. Because if you look at the history, right, when the OG Xbox, let's be honest, like it came out, that was them getting their foot in the game, right? But ultimately, they knew they weren't going to win that gen. That gen was an L. 360, what Peter Moore was shout out to Lord Sam in the chat, see what he was saying. He was very aggressive in making sure that they had a year to market head start. And let's be real, like for all intents and purposes, this generation is over as far as sales is concerned. They're not you're not going to catch. So maybe, even though 2019 may sound too early, but maybe they sit there and they say, you know what, let's get this thing to market. We'll be out first. We'll have the market share. You know what I mean? And then try to attack them that way just to get a head start. What do the Lords think about that?
I don't think this coming out before the 5 though.
Oh, okay, so you feel it's going to come out on around the same time?
I think we're going to get that do-over. I think we're going to get that round robin. I think we're going to get that one more time. Let's do it again with the real dude in charge of the ship. We come out a week to week, a date to date, or whatever you want to call it. But he's going to have his guns ready. He's not going to allow them to take the power narrative. I can say it now that I honestly believe that the Xbox 2 will be more powerful than the PlayStation 5. They will not allow them to have any type of edge in any area. Only edge that Sony will have is whatever stock of games that they have from the PlayStation 4 that they will re-enhance and bring them up to from checkerboard to real 4K.
Lord Saab, I need you in on this. What are you thinking?
I don't see 2019 doesn't feel too early if they're going to continue this iterative console thing. If they're going to continue that in 2 years from now, yeah, that's fine. They're going to it's going to be a souped up Ryzen 5 or whatever, Ryzen 7 console. It's going to be able to play all your older games. And if they continue this, then 2019 makes sense. If Xbox One X is the final Xbox One and they're just jumping completely, then I would say, yeah, it is too early.
I mean,
because the thing is, they've been focusing so much on this ecosystem and trying to unify the ecosystem to then break it. I would think you need to give more people time with their new console before you tell them they have to break it completely, unless you're telling them everything moves forward again. I don't know what they were PlayStation in this regard, is that I don't know where their mind is. They might, it makes sense to me. To me, the only obvious way to move forward is to continue with this iterative stuff and just keep making more powerful consoles and not put people off from their games. Now they might just not do that to be contrarian to what Xbox is doing. Because there are plenty of people that have that narrative that say, you know what? Nah, if you allow me to play my old games on this system, then the system isn't as powerful as it could be. And there are people that really buy into that.
Lord Stafford, with the crown come arrogance. And with arrogance comes mistakes.
We've seen it many
sir. I'm listening. Keep talking, sir.
We've seen this time and again. The hubris always gets to you, whether it's Microsoft, whether it's Sony. The hubris makes you make
Here's the thing, Microsoft. Like Sony's in such a dominant position, right? They're killing this generation. Like I still don't see the need. I mean, yes, in a bubble with the Xbox One X, and they're completely winning all these, you know, resolution wars and all this other stuff. I get it. You know what I mean? And we know the superior version of the game is on the Xbox One X. But it's also one of them things. They still got the exclusive train. They got that going. They've got a huge bunch of titles that they still haven't, you know, released that we expect to be 2018, 2019 moving forward. So it's like, do they really need?
They don't need it. With the exclusives, they don't. And that's the thing. Microsoft has to up their exclusive game considerably to put the pressure on their neck to say, listen, regardless of what exclusives we have, we have to start pushing the power narrative again, because they have enough to combat us, or they have, you know, they may not have as much, but they have enough to combat us. People, if the games are good, that's another thing we have to think about with Sony. Generally, their first party stuff is usually very well received. Very rarely do they have a first party game come out or a second party published game or something like that that is not very well received. Whereas Microsoft's the past couple of years have been sort of middling. Like even their top franchises, the Halo 5s, the Gears of War, you know, that people had issues with. These have to be exemplary titles. If they're not on that same level, then yeah, I don't think they'll feel the need to really push the envelope in terms of power, because they're gonna have the games. Like
real quick, let me give it to you, Attic. I shout out to Lex Hazard in the chat. He made a point. He's saying that he doesn't feel that Microsoft they can afford it. I don't think they can afford PS5 coming out first. I'm gonna be honest. I'm nervous. I'm a little shook.
Yeah, it's a mind share, like just the Sony train, like with that coming out first.
Yeah, I feel they have to, like you said, like Lord King said, I feel they have to meet them day and day and do like a, what is it, 2013/2014 all over again.
No, line in the sand.
Yeah, or put the line in the sand, or you jump out a year early. Lord Attic, jump in. I want your opinion on this, man. Where you at with all this?
No, look, okay. When it comes to the whole, you know, if people think the mid-generation's the only reason, I think if Microsoft might announce it in 2019. Like, I just don't know. But here's the thing, like, I do have, hold up, I'm sick for a second.
Okay, now take your time, bro. I know you're not feeling well.
Let me jump in real quick. So I was talking to Dealer about this situation in a party chat, and we were talking about the next big jump for consoles is going to be the frame rates. I think that, you know, we're talking about Ryzen and all this other stuff. I don't think the prices of the CPUs are going to be where you need them to be to have the cost of the system be where you need it to be. You know, the Xbox One X was announced at $500 and people lost their mind, right? On that announcement, they're like, oh, that's too much. People aren't going to buy it, you know, but I honestly think that the next big jump, since we're at 4K right now, is going to be that 60 frame target for most games,
which is CPU intensive. That requires a better CPU. We can't be running with these Jaguars again.
That's what I thought this time, and that the Jaguar was done. It's done.
I was disappointed with the Xbox. Remember, Lord King, that's the only. I was like, damn, I was
the bottleneck.
But continue, Lord Sword. I'll cut you off. I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, so you look at, I think Microsoft has done, they're thinking about things, right? They're going forward. So this backwards compatibility thing, all the way back to the original Xbox, wasn't by chance, right? They want to cover their basis. They want to say, we got you covered with all your games from the beginning, and you'll be covered going forward. So this mid-gen refresh, I think it was a one-off thing for Microsoft because they were so far behind with the power narrative that they had to do something, you know. They created this powerful system to get in front of the power because it was such a big deal. But I don't see them doing these mid-gen refreshes in the future. That's just my opinion. And they've been asked about the situation because they're like, well, are you going into a cell phone model? Are you going to be pumping out systems every 2 years? And they said, no, we're going to be continuing generations. So I think this the mid-gen refresh was just a one-off thing, but I think the X is powerful enough to compete for a while. But like I said, the next big thing is going to be the CPU, and it's going to be frames per second. So it's all depending on how fast they can get that price point to where they need it. So it's not a fact like they're you know, Sony's going to push a console out. I don't think they push a console out unless they're hitting 60 frames on most games.
You want my honest opinion?
Go for it.
And I really think that this is Microsoft's play right now. I think they realize that the PS4 is not going to slow down in sales. It's not going anywhere in sales. It's just going to keep going up. What's the one way that you slow down a generation of sales? Easy.
You start the next one. You start the next one.
You can push the reset button.
So I think that Microsoft might not necessarily be ready by 2019. Let's be real here. You can make the next generation next year if you put enough money behind it. I feel like they rather take the loss at the start of the generation and perhaps lose the whole generation in terms of hardware sales. They'd have to redo it by software sales and, you know, any kind of promotions they would do. But what would that do? One, it would catch Sony off guard, because if they had, let's be real here, Sony, they tried that waiting a year thing. It didn't work out for them. If Microsoft announced it's coming out in 2019, because they know that they know more about their competition than, you know, the consumers do. So that's going to make PlayStation have to announce theirs in 2019-ish. And I think they're going to try to offset them. And one thing I think that's really going to help Microsoft next gen is you could play 3 generation of games. And I feel like
that's huge.
I feel like if Sony doesn't adapt and Sony doesn't do backwards compatible, which, you know, people are like, well, that's what I'm saying. People are like, well, that's just a given. Sony has not a given. One thing to make me think that they want backwards compatibility.
They brought Genki. When they brought Genki, they let you know that, listen, you can buy that old stuff. You can stream it.
Remember the Gaikai acquisition? The cloud? That was their big thing they were bragging. You're right.
You can play PlayStation now anywhere. Get it on your TV. Get it on your cell phone. Get it wherever you want to get it. We got a system for you. They said it. Y'all just didn't hear it. And I saw it. And I was like, damn, that sucks.
All in the chat, he's saying that PS4 will be forward compatible with PS5. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, stake your life.
Their history hasn't shown it.
It hasn't shown it. Like I said, if they want to be contrary to what Microsoft is doing, they may just be like, no, that's weakening the system. Like they just changed the narrative around. Same thing with the 4K. When Microsoft said true 4K, they said dynamic 4K, and all of a sudden dynamic. Nobody knew what that meant. So
Lord Sovereign, Sony will put it in the box for the first couple of systems, and then the next month you realize that your system don't play it no more.
Like the PS3. They had versions of the PS3 that was backwards compatible with the PS2. And then they started recalling the PS3.
Yeah, there's actually a lawsuit too, because in that wasn't that one that lost.
Yeah, I won $40.
Yeah, the one that had Linux, and then they took that away. So
right, the original OS allowed you to throw Linux on there, and it had the built-in backwards.
It's like, look, this is what I honestly think Microsoft's doing. They want to, you know, as much as I hate to say this next phrase,
say it.
To take the stuff that King David has been saying, you know, his little chessboard analogy he be using with Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer's been setting up this chessboard, and then he gonna flip the board and force start the next generation, and then it's like, look, we got 360 games, we got Xbox One games, we got Xbox One, and we'll just say Xbox 2 games. We got our opening lineup. We got the entire back generation and the generation before that, and even the generation before that. And Sony's coming out with maybe 30 games.
So the only issue I see with that, the problem I see with that is like what Lord Salt was saying, is that at what point is releasing it too early you're gonna put yourself in a position when
I get that, but
a powerful system is gonna be something that's significantly more powerful than the X is gonna cost you $700.
It's not. There's one thing that I feel like is making this more and more believable is when they were just fighting this with the PS4. But I feel like the moment the Switch came into play and they started losing market share to the Switch as well, I feel like they started looking more at that.
But the Switch is such a different animal.
It doesn't matter.
Regard.
It's still taking some of the
money.
consumer base.
Yeah, it's taking money. Yeah.
Sure. I'm just talking about the conversation we used to have was, okay, Switch is on a different plane, and we have Xbox and PlayStation.
It's still the same install base, regardless if it's on a different plane.
Oh, I've always argued that the money's being fought for on the same level, right? Everybody's fighting for the same dollars. But the thing is, when you're comparing the power thing, I don't think
I'm not
looking
comparing
at the Switch
power. I'm saying generations.
Yeah,
I never said power at all in that statement.
So you're saying that just because the Switch has been as successful as it has, it's saying that what the generation is defined as
complemented power to anything I've ever talked about.
What I'm saying is that what you're saying is that since the Switch has been able to find its market share and being what it is. It doesn't necessarily like the idea of where the generation starts and stops isn't as important as it was before.
Dude, Nintendo can do whatever Nintendo wants to do, and they make
Nintendo talk. That's my topic.
What Attic is saying is Nintendo is the wild card, and they're the catalyst for what's about to happen.
It's like, look, do I think 2019 is too soon? Damn straight.
Yeah, me too.
But at the end of the day, it's like, look, like I'm not even saying what anything Dream heard was wrong. Everything Dream could have heard is completely accurate.
Right.
But that's their release window. But we
right.
know
I'm of that mindset, Attic. I agree with you. I'm of that mindset.
We also. Oh, sorry.
Guys,
we also have to take into account. We also have to take into account that there's sometimes fake leaks that are thrown out there by some of these companies, to try to generate this buzz to try to either A, see what the interest is, or B, kind of throw the other company off, because it is a big, chess match. Because let's be honest, let's say Sony does get a system out there and it doesn't hit 60 frames on all games, and then Xbox comes out with one a year later, it's lower price and it hits 60 frames on all games, almost all games. That's a huge problem. Then Sony's in the predicament that the Xbox One was in. Do you see how that goes? Like, if this is a generation thing, this is a next gen console, it's a huge deal,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's just going to be this huge standoff to see who, and Sony is the people that should, bring the system out first, because the X just came out, right? So it should be due, right? I don't know. It's crazy to see what's going to happen. Like, are they going to drop at the same time? Are they going to wait? We'll see.
Now, real quick before we wrap up, I'm going to give it back to King. What do we feel like? How can I put this? Besides, let's just say that with the whole 1 year coming out early thing, right? I've seen a lot of arguments of people stating, that could be a big mistake because, look at what happened to the 360 from a hardware, from it being a rush, right? Everybody's like, don't rush the system. Like, do you think that would play a factor into it as to a reason as to not,
it's
for Microsoft not to do that?
Rushed. It is definitely being rushed if it comes out in 19. There's no doubt in my mind that won't be rushed. I feel like if anything, we'll get an announcement in 19 and come out in 20.
Okay. Yeah. Lord King, your topic. Let's wrap this thing, man. What do you feel is going to go?
I love what the roundtable had to say, and I love what the chat is saying. Anchor, I believe you're wrong, but I do believe that
we always disagree with Anchor.
We're gonna leave Anchor in his own little space to mingle up in there. Go ahead, Anchor, mingle in that space. Where I see it is just like Lord Cognito said, it's a launch window. That's a launch window. 2019 is a launch window. Right now, Microsoft is holding the power card. So if you're a multi-plat developer and you're making a game, well, our game is going to be in 4K, X, whatever on the X, and then we can checkerboard it down that way on the Pro and bring that across over there. Because it's not really up to snuff with the X. The X has so much room up in here. So the power card is being played over on this side. And once you get to the point where you can start getting these deals back that we lost with the Call of Duty and all this other stuff, that we get the DLC first, and this is the place to play first. Once that narrative starts to switch, and you're going to start seeing it switch in that manner, where the games, of course, you could say, Sony has so many systems out, but remember I told you this, bro. that game sales are not equating hardware sales, and something's up with these numbers.
Illuminati podcast.
Illuminati.
All right, I'm telling you. I'm just saying. You know, these you say these guys sell 10 million. You know, Switch sells 10 million and sells 5 million Marios. That kind of makes sense. These other dudes got 100 million and can't sell 1 million games. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yo, the finest is coming for you, Lord Addict, in the chat. He says 6 years is not a rush. He coming for your neck.
But they got the cards. They're holding the cards now. They're holding the power card.
My neck. I gotta understand what they're talking about.
Did you see what he said? Check it out. Check out what he said. So you got to understand. The power card is this. They're telling Sony by telling them, yeah, our system is ready to go. What's up, bro?
So you think it's position? You think it's like they got the gun cocked, like whatever y'all doing, we ready. Like
we ready for that, and that's kind of scary. Like, cause you don't know where to move. Like Lord Addict says, and like Lord Sovereign says, will it be backwardly compatible? Should it be backwardly compatible? How should they move? I know they have they view on how they're gonna do it, and Sony has always shown me they do not care about the consumer. So be prepared to get a system that's gonna launch with 13 games, like Lord Addict said. Oh, it's new, it's fresh, it's more powerful, it's this, it's that, and you can play your old PlayStation 4 games on PlayStation Now by buying them all over again.
No,
when Microsoft said we could play everything from the jump, and bam, and it's stronger. So that's how I see it. I don't know, you guys. The debate is beautiful. I love the chat. It looks fantastic. But I'm so happy that we're back and we had this conversation. We got Salty in the room, baby.
No doubt. This is a good one. This is a good one. If everyone's wrapped up on the power struggle, we're gonna move on. And Lord Solve, Microsoft with some leaks in the sink, man. What's going on, man?
Yeah, well, you know,
it's leaky over there.
We can't start the year off without some rumors and some leaks. It's got to happen.
I like you so.
Oh yeah, I'm happy for you, Lord Addict, on this one. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm very happy with.
Very happy for you. Continue.
So, I mean, people are really excited to know what Microsoft has in the pipeline for this year, right? We know we have Sea of Thieves coming. We know we have Crackdown coming. We know we have State of Decay. Maybe Ori. So beyond that, we don't really know what's coming. And Phil has been clear about stating that he doesn't want to talk about anything before he's ready to talk about it, before they know they have an actual game that they're confident is going to come out. But, you know, people always want to know what's coming next. So basically over on NeoGAF and Resetera, a guy who's been known for leaking quality information that's kind of been people have been able to rely on, was able to still access old like Xbox API SDKs, which he figured he wouldn't be able to do anymore, and be able to kind of figure out what they have in the pipeline. And what they have in the pipeline is some interesting stuff. So he couldn't talk directly about what he saw, so he kind of makes phrases and inferences around it and kind of indicating to people what it is that is coming down the pipeline. So first off, he mentions that there might be a return to Albion very soon, or at least an announcement of a return to Albion very soon. And from what I've been able to gather, and a lot of people have been able to gather around the internet, it's kind of pointing to a particular developer working with this game that maybe people would not expect. People are looking at perhaps Playground games are the ones that have been vetted to take on Fable 4.
And we got almost confirmation from Jez Gordon on that these Fables are true. Yeah,
so they're hopefully working on Playground is fantastic. They've been working on Forza Horizon for years, but they've shown that they are a very competent team. I'm excited to see what they do with that.
Before kind of in the other leaks, Lord, so I just got to ask Lord Addict a question.
What do you think about this?
For so long. So I need Lord Addict, like when you heard about Fable, you're so passionate about the series, and now you hear Playground. What do you feel? What was going through your mind with that one?
Like what?
Like, okay, look,
I had
whips.
I had a pretty good conversation with Tim Dog over on Twitter in DMs, and it's like, look, man, like he assured me, he's like, look, he's like, the game's gonna look good because their engine. Now, first off, I don't even know if like a racing engine can make an open world adventure game, but you know, I don't know how that works, so you can't really quote me on it.
You got to play Horizon. Their engines are great. Like Playground.
Well, it's not that. It's just like I don't know if you can use the same engine for two different genre games.
Right. I see what you're saying.
So you know, one would think you could, but maybe they would have to re-optimize the engine.
If it's as flexible as the Unreal Engine, yeah.
But the Unreal Engine's like the most used engine because it's flexible like that. I don't know. If
that and the Cry engine is the
I don't know if every engine is available. It can do stuff like that.
Yeah,
right.
Gotcha. All right.
I'm not saying the studio. Obviously, Microsoft is not going to let them make the game with only people that know how to make. You know,
of course,
racing game.
You know, obviously,
but again, this is elite. You know,
yeah, of course we got to take it with.
So I pretty much got confirmation that it's true. Like
it was confirmed that they were recruiting people for an open world RPG.
I guarantee
that was confirmed before that.
The vets from Lionhead went to that studio.
It'll be interesting. Probably continue Lost Soul with the rest of these leaky leaks.
Okay, so the next thing is perhaps a return to Perfect Dark. And maybe the indication that they could be going third person with it instead of first person. I want to know how you guys feel about that. I'm gonna be honest. I've always thought
let Lord Salt get on that. He got a lot to say.
Yeah. Let's salt on that. Full of salt on it.
Oh my god, dude!
Sprinkle some salt on.
First of all,
what game?
First of all,
Perfect Dark.
How many people have you guys seen on
I'm cool
social
with that.
media?
I'm cool with that.
Bet. Are you guys there? Hello.
Yeah, we listening to you. Go ahead now.
How many people on social media have you seen begging for a new Perfect Dark? First of all, I don't know.
You don't see that demand.
You know, the nasty taste that was left in your mouth. I don't think that the man will be out there. But go ahead, Salt. Get it, baby.
You know, so the Perfect Dark situation is the one that like makes me kind of salty because I'm like, please God, make this not be true. I just.
No, let this be true because if that's not true, Fable was probably not true. You need it.
I think see, because this guy made some predictions, and I think most of them were correct. So, like,
he made like the K one, didn't he?
So if it's 75%, I hope the Perfect Dark's in that 25%.
Falls in the 25%. That's not real.
You want to be that 25%. So I see you.
So I don't know, man. It's just not an IP that I think that they should be focusing on. Let's just put it that way, because it just I don't know what they could do with it to make it stand out in the shooter area. You know, like
Cypher filter. If they're going third person, they can go Cypher filter type of way, Hitman type of way with it, and do episodic. Complete stealth with it. Yeah, go ahead.
So, but getting back to the other topic about having these developers start, different projects, and if you look at Guerrilla Games, like what was their original game that they were working on? It was Killzone. Yep. And that's a shooter. I mean, they went into this open world RPG and they hit it out the park,
Facts.
So,
no, they didn't.
Yes,
so,
we know Lord King doesn't like Horizon, but a lot of people.
I feel like first off, like I played a little Perfect Dark, but like I didn't play like a whole lot of it. It was so long ago, I can't really remember like the game thoroughly. Was that like a stealth shooter?
It was
no.
What was it? What was kind of?
It was like a GoldenEye / James Bond type of thing with a female lead.
Yes.
GoldenEye engine and the mechanics and improved on them. It was one of the cartridges on the N64 that used the RAM to run better.
Yes.
The RAM card. So it was just one of those things where it's like it improved upon the GoldenEye formula after people had fallen off of GoldenEye. And when Microsoft acquired Rare, to take that franchise and run with it and blow it up. And then the first effort on the 360 was not what people wanted, and it went dormant. It's been dormant for over 10 years.
And let it stay dormant, right?
You want my honest opinion?
Salt does not want this game to exist.
You want my honest opinion on that game?
Yeah.
I think that if they made that a third person, they need to have the people who make Hitman make it.
Right.
No, there you go. I think if they
Aren't
blow
they out
it
of
up,
work?
and if they blow it up, no, they're doing Hitman season 2. You know?
Oh, okay.
Leave them do a Hitman. Leave them alone. Leave them alone.
If they do Perfect Dark, they'll be out of work.
You get what I'm saying?
Salt is going in. Salt is going in.
I think the IP has enough name recognition still that if you blow it up and it's brand new, it's nothing. It's not first person. It's third person. Maybe they focus on stealth action.
Third person
I don't know
stealth
what
action cover shooter.
Yeah, with first person elements.
Exactly. I mean, not even the first person elements. Maybe you eliminate it completely.
No, I mean people in the face first person.
No, if you make it something brand new and you know make it more mature, maybe get away from some of like the more comedic elements of it. It was it had that rare kind of comedy to it. You know what I mean? Like the banjo stuff. It's like it had that tone to it. Maybe it could be something, but it's to me only if they do that with it. If you give me the same old, I don't think it's worth putting a lot of money into if you just give me the same old. So that's
now,
my thought on that.
Let's go on with the rest of these leaks because we still got some more, right? We got what was it Age of Empires? What else was on there? Yeah.
So with Crackdown, I believe they're trying to work on 4-player co-op, which would be fantastic to me. Like if they really went back to the drawing board with Crackdown and they want to make this title shine on the X, this is the type of stuff that you want to be able to see the game being able to do, running at a great frame rate, looking beautiful. Like so, hopefully,
if this game don't come out doing with the multiplayer that they promised, this game might as well not even come out.
That's right. They better keep that in the closet.
They literally took the limbo. They literally took the limbo and put it to the bottom bar, and they can't raise it anymore.
Yeah, I want 4-player co-op. See, that actually got me excited.
There was no wiggle room anymore. Like the moment they offered that kind of multiplayer experience, that's the only thing people want now.
Facts.
Yeah. So we have that. We have an indication that Forza Horizon 4 is going to be in Japan, which is
I like that.
That's very exciting. Japan has a lot of different ecosystems.
That is kind of.
Yeah,
the funny part about that is like imagine like the irony in that like. It's in Japan where their competitor is. and
they can't sell.
Like,
oh my
god! Like, what are like Sony's headquarters there? Like, is it going to be grayed out?
Oh
like,
my god!
How about they don't even go to Japan? Like they shouldn't launch systems there.
And I can't be the only one that sees irony in this, okay?
It's kind of funny. It is kind of funny.
I see pandering. That's all I see.
I'm just imagining like the neon lights of Tokyo.
Yeah.
On a serious
Tokyo highway kind of.
No, on a serious note, if they made Forza Horizon 4 flashy enough and good enough, I could see a Japanese market picking that up, like just for that one.
I can't see it at all.
If they do Japan justice, which they do, I mean, these guys, they research extensely. Like,
I don't see them messing it up. They literally haven't missed a home run. Like,
they literally can have it shipped with Japanese letters and with the whole box art with a Japanese map of
and they won't care.
And they don't care. They don't want you over there. They want Sega.
Yeah.
So
shout out to B1 in the chat. He said we could thank Tick for Forza going to Japan. He said he talked to Dan Greenwald extensively about it 3 years ago. So shout out to Cal on that one. You know what I'm saying? Tick team. I love it. I love the backdrop in what you call it in Japan. I think that would be hot, you know, regardless of what this one.
I'm tired of Forza. I don't care.
Yes, we know.
No, I'm sorry.
Horizon, I like. I'm a Horizon.
I can't wait for that update next week. Is it next week the update?
Yeah, the 15th, so I can finally play that game with 4K textures.
Yeah, let me jump later on that. So, yeah, I like what I'm seeing. I mean, I think, you know, obviously this guy's his history has been pretty good from this Clobril. I can't even pronounce his name. He was on recently. Yeah, like, you know, a lot of stuff. I mean, we even said when Lord King, remember when we was at the PC conference and we saw Age of Empires, wasn't it announced there?
Yeah.
And we like, yo, that's so stupid. Like, why Microsoft? You know what I mean? Like, didn't announce this for them. Like
a lot of stuff didn't make sense. That
Right.
the show, the PC show is an extension of the Microsoft show. If you put both shows together, you had a complete show.
Right.
Separately, yeah.
Absolutely, 100% agree. So now it makes sense because maybe from a Microsoft standpoint, they're saying, you know what, let's get our keyboard and mouse support set up, right?
Yeah.
Before we can get that. We've seen the ball moving on that. So again, a lot of these leaks, I don't want to say it's the gospel, but a lot of it, theoretically, it sounds like it's making sense.
Legit, yeah, absolutely.
You know,
yeah, bringing Age of Empires to the Xbox with keyboard and mouse coming soon. That to me makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
All right. So the last two big leaks. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, continue. No, I'm gonna let you finish off.
So the last two big leaks. Well, first of all, there was nothing substantial in terms of Conquer, Banjo, or Crimson Skies for the foreseeable future. There's really nothing that he saw that indicates anything's coming soon.
Nothing.
No, that's the Mech Assaults. So all he said, and this is how he rephrased. He's like, "Oh, and I'm sure Phil likes mechs." So there's something in the Mech Assault vein coming. I don't know how soon. How maybe it's just an announcement. Sense for Xbox because it takes the hardcore stuff from Mech Warrior and it turns it into an action game that a lot of people could get behind. Mech Warrior is a little more hardcore, like it doesn't appeal to everybody. Mech Assault is something that plays more like an action game, straight up. So making a Mech Assault with crazy explosions, crazy mechs, that would be fantastic.
Like heavy on.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
And then the last
my thing is, okay, Sovereign. I mean, why is it always Microsoft with these leaks? Like, why is it always these dudes? Where's the Sony leaks? Where's the Nintendo? Nintendo never have a leak. If it ain't in the direct, it ain't never been talked about. Why? What's the disloyalty in this company, man?
Nintendo locks everybody up in the treehouse, right? So nobody can leave. Everybody lives in the treehouse. Nobody's leaving.
But they got fear of higher ups. Why there's no fear in Microsoft?
Yeah, I gotta agree with Lord King in this. Like, as much as I love this type of stuff and it's great to talk about it, we bring it to the round table. I'm kind of low key disgusted that it's always Microsoft stuff getting leaked out. What do you feel about that, Lord? So, like, I'm really I like to know, but then part of me is like, don't you feel like the last 2 to 3 E3s we have gotten an idea of what films guys are gonna say before they present?
We had the white paper before he walked out on stage.
Hey, we did. But not last year at E3. We didn't know anything about last year. I think literally the games that we knew were going to show up. Like anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Like when he walked out, was like, we have 43 games. I was like, cool, man. A lot of the games I was expecting a favor. By the end of that, I was like, dude, I didn't guess none of that shit. Like,
yeah, true that.
Yeah, I had that list on my back. My list was dead wrong.
Lord, so what do you feel about Microsoft and these leaks in general? Like how do you feel about that?
Man, it's tough because, like you guys are saying, it's like what's going to happen before E3, so that kind of like skews the results. I think for when they give the grades afterward to like, oh, this person this team won, or this this company. It's like, well, if you already know, it takes away from the excitement and like the shock factor of getting
the
these
shock factors, namely what gets people that W.
Exactly. That's what gets you so excited, right? Like when it's something that you never anticipated and you come out, you're like, wow, I didn't see that coming. But it's like Lord King says, like it's almost having like a little cheat sheet in the white paper, like, okay, he should be saying
like they handed out the press conference like a week before we get there. They already emailed us all the stuff that they're gonna show. What's going on, man?
It's like walking into a movie and knowing the end.
Yes, good point.
Plot twist. Thanos has all the rings. What?
We'll see. I mean, a lot of this stuff, it feels very true. Lord Sav, it's your topic. What do you feel on your own topic?
So just really quickly, the last leak that they mentioned. So apparently he hinted that Halo might have some sort of massively multiplayer. So maybe something in the battle royale vein for Halo coming. I don't know. I
gotta tell you. Me and Lord Cognito talked about this. I I'm putting this out there. Please do not put that as no little mode on top of my Halo 6. I do not want that. I don't want a mode. I don't want to survive. I don't want none of that. If you want to do the game, you make the game the Halo OTSD 2, where you can drop your little Marines into the field and they can go gather stuff and have it as a combat trainer. I don't care how you do it. Make it its own standalone real game with real shooter mechanics, because that's the problem with PUBG. The shooter mechanics is off. Put real shooter mechanics into this thing here in the Halo universe. I don't care how you do it, but do not add a mode to my Halo. If you think that is going to sell me on purchasing this Halo by you putting in a mode, don't waste your damn time, because I will not purchase this game just because you put a stupid mode in there. Put a mode in there.
You don't want no. You don't want your chicken dinners.
No. Keep that separate out of my goddamn game. Make sure this game plays well. All right. We had a problem with narrative. We didn't have a problem with modes. We had enough modes in there. Do not add no PUBG mode inside my game.
Lord Kingdom. Let's just say, right? All right. We know this battle royal craze is, we got Fortnite in there. You know what I'm saying? I know, Lord King. So you don't want no parts of
No, make a game. Make a game. You made a strategy game for the Halo Wars, right? Give them some respect and have OTST have his own little PUBG type of game where it's a little genre thing over there. Do not do that. I swear, do not do that. Do not do that. Phil, you know me, you're going to have that conversation. I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to be firm. And I'm going to tell you, do not put that damn mode in that game.
And we'll see where Lord Attic, what do you feel about the possible PUBG style mode for Halo? If
I have to agree, make it its own game.
I feel you.
Thank you. Man, this year, me and this dude this year we're rolling in the same car. Look at us right over there.
Making it its own game. Have 100 Royale where
thank you.
You spawn like the majority of them are ODST and it picks random people to be Spartans and stuff.
Yep. I'm down with that.
I will say this, look, it does seem weird to put that type of mode in Halo.
Or if by the time we get to this talking about Halo 6, maybe they can handle like 100 versus 100, where you have 100 Covenant soldiers versus 100.
But
that would be insane.
Last one surviving.
Some truth though, because didn't Halo 5, what is it? Didn't it have Warzone where they were experimenting with like
keep with that joint?
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah,
Warzone was fun. Keep that. Don't expand on what you made already. Stop jumping, trying to be a jack of all trades and you're a master of nothing.
Lord
Keep
Sam
your
might be
ass
onto
in your
something.
lane. Nah, man, I don't.
Lord Sam might be on. He said it didn't say Battle Royale specifically. It's likely Warzone 2.0. That makes a lot of sense. I agree with Lord Sam. Lord Saul, let's finish this thing up. What you got, Phil?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Basically, I'm on board with you guys with the battle royale situation. I talked about it in my video. I just don't think it makes sense. The multiplayer is doing very well over there with Halo 5. So if they are going to do something like this, make it standalone. But I would like to see, like you guys said, with the Warzone, I want to see them make that bigger and like crazier. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe a mode where there's more vehicles. More people. I think that they can expand upon that and make that crazy, because we have the Xbox One X and the power of that system. So on the E3 stage, I guarantee you they're going to be coming out with that Halo announcement, and they show the power of the X. The sky's the limit. But I don't. The PUBG thing, the battle royale thing, I just don't see how it works in the Halo universe.
Right? It's
like
different.
it doesn't feel right. It's like you're trying to jam a square peg into a round hole. It just doesn't work.
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah.
Lord Saul.
I definitely agree. I think it's Warzone 2.0, and I think just they're going to utilize the power of the X to really show, you can have 100 people running around, and like you said, like more vehicles, weapons, like aerial combat, ground combat. Like they just want it to be a true Warzone and feel like it, and very chaotic all over the place. So
in the chat, he's saying maybe 20 versus 20. That would be kind of lit.
That'd be crazy.
Some AI involved and all that constant. Because they did say the leak said consistent connections, right?
Yeah. So I hope it's something like that. I don't want them doing some Me Too thing. They need to just expand on what they've been doing.
What y'all don't want these chicken dinners?
No, nobody wants that. Do not start shoehorning it and everything. Then you're gonna start having Forza, having PUBG mode. Don't do this.
I don't want anybody else doing PUBG unless they're doing it better than PUBG. Like I just. So overall, I say I agree about the leaks that it's always Microsoft leaks that are coming out, but I think for where the fan base is, they like to know these things to have an idea that Microsoft is listening to them and there's stuff coming. Now, my only question is, how close is this? How confident are they in even mentioning this stuff and announcing it this year? Because this is information that's been gleaned, so it's no guarantee that there's an announcement coming this year. So we may be expecting all this stuff and then be disappointed when we don't hear about it because it's not far enough along. So who knows? Like I just like to know that they're working on stuff that we've been asking for. Yeah. And hopefully some of this stuff is closer than we think it is. So.
Yeah, man. Great topic, Lord Solve. That was real fun. I mean, leaks are interesting, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? If
not in my boat. I don't want no leaks in my boat.
Lord King is not about these leaks. I feel you, man.
No, man. Somebody got to shut up. They got to catch that dude and torture him and make him an example.
Like all the way live. Like, and how they not monitoring these? Anyway, but
he needs to be captured and tortured and made an example that this is what happens around these parts. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, somebody lost a finger over at Sony. No more leak. Nintendo, they know that you got to do the Harry Carry over there, so they know for sure we're not leaking at all. Come on, man, we got to do something. Somebody got to get beat up.
Yeah, man. So that's what we got on these leaks, and if everyone's done, we're gonna move on. I want to talk about my topic now. So I want to talk about the US Go, the Nintendo Switch.
Oh now, God!
The US's all-time fastest selling console through 10 months. The Nintendo Switch has sold 4.8 million.
You know something? I'm sorry for jumping in the middle of your monologue. I was so dreading this. Like
it's for you with love. This is
brother. You have been riding this horse since they let it out the gate, and you and Sovereign has been Batman and Robin this joint all the way through. Time out. I just want to say one thing. You've been riding this horse all the way through, right? Until November when Sony lied and told you that they won November. But then come December, you guys win December. When I tell you there's something is fishy with them numbers in November, you better know this when I'm telling you this, man. I just didn't want them to rob you from November. Technically, I felt that y'all really won November, to be honest with you.
It would be funny. It would be funny if they came back and won December.
No doubt. So back with these high sales, broke. The US, as far as the fastest selling console, is as far as 2 days, as far as 10 months, it basically shattered the Wii, y'all. Like the Wii. I mean, remember when the Wii dropped and how crazy it was and how hard it was to get it? It was like, Tickle Me Elmo status for a toy trying to get you.
Wow. Please do not look at that comment section right now.
Crazy.
It's going in. They're going in. I love it.
Can I be Nightwing?
Yeah, McQueen. Listen, I'm going to tell you this.
Where's B-Money? Who's repping hard.
I know.
Shout out to the Switch Day Ones.
I've argued
in this chat right now.
I've argued with Kabatu at least 5 times over the Switch. He's got to be in that little posse somewhere too.
I got to give a shout out to Las Vegas because my Twitter direct has been blowing up every other day with Switch news. Hey, what did he just put out the other day? Oh, that's launching in Switch. I said, yeah. We got that in 4K. Shut up.
So back to the news. Shout out to B Money. I seen you. We was on the front lines, baby, telling these guys the Nintendo got one. Shout out to Saul, all the Switch gang out there. Look, Kofi, all them guys. But what I thought was interesting too, besides that, obviously, you know, the US sales, but also in Japan, like basically the Media Crate sales figures came out, and check this out. This blew my mind. It managed to surpass the first year sales of the PS2 in Japan. That's insane. So basically, I think it was like what 23 million for Japan during its lifetime. But I believe the PS2 also, where the parallel is so great, is that the PS2 also launched in March back in that day. And I believe they sold over about 3 million units in its first year. And the Switch surpassed it. It was like 3,258,000 units sold through 2017. So with all this success, you know, do we see this train stopping? What do we feel? You know, and obviously we know there's a Nintendo Direct coming. You know, they're supposed to announce there's a big leak going on Amazon. They had like placeholder for about 20 plus games. You know, this is a huge year for Nintendo as far as the momentum. Can they keep this up? So I want to bring this to the Lord. Now let's get to Lord Saul, because Lord Saul, I don't believe you don't have a Switch, correct? You don't have a Switch game.
No, I don't.
Okay.
So the Nintendo system is like it's in a perfect situation, right? It's a hybrid console. It's not really a console. It's not really. It's like more of a handheld. I've stated that, and I get blasted for that. I just I see it as a handheld, and it's catching these numbers for consoles, and it's being touted as a console, so it's hitting these numbers as a console. The price point's perfect. It's $300. It's a complement system, so everybody. It's not, it's not so much, it's like, oh, PlayStation or Xbox. It's like, well, all the PlayStation dudes and all the Xbox dudes, they buy this system as a compliment. It's a compliment. They play it on the go. It's just, they're in a win-win situation. That's why it's exploding the way it is, because we've never seen something like this. Nintendo took a gamble. Wii, the original Wii was innovative, and it sold like hotcakes, and this is the same exact thing for this system, because it's a compliment, man. Just like you guys were saying, you can take it to work, you can play it on your break, you can, it's just portable, it's affordable, and I don't see it slowing down, honestly. Like, I think it's going to continue its upward trend, and the market more moving forward, you're going to see a lot more multi-plat support. These businesses are going to want to come in and support this system because it's selling more. So it's kind of a ball rolling down the hill. I do have issues with the fact that they got this system out and they don't have basic things like
Lord Addict, Lord King,
chat, achievements. I mean, you got to rig it up like you're telephoning with a can with a string on the end of it to your friend, right? If you want to chat.
I'm telling you, they need to just sell the Switch with a PSN card or an Xbox One card and say use their party system to communicate.
Y'all savage.
Seriously, like I Nintendo and Xbox are pretty friendly. I know they're doing crossplay with Minecraft. Hell, just ask them for some favors.
Hey, Salty, do you think that's Phil seeing the tea leaves saying like, hey man, let's just like get in bed with these dudes and put our live on their system? I'm telling you, listen, man. If he gets live on that Nintendo and you can live chat with the Nintendo.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man, you might as well give Phil a gold statue right there on Broadway, baby.
Hey,
what do we feel?
They're forming that relationship, so you can't underestimate that, man. Like that crossplay between Minecraft is crazy.
I mean, especially if they continue to get a lot of flack over it too, because like Nintendo are trying to keep up with this perception that people want the Switch to have, and I just don't think Nintendo got the software engineers to do it.
Yo, don't you think that in Phil's DMs, he's shooting a DM at the head of Nintendo, like, yo, we can fix that the chat problem. We can fix that. Like, we got that chat.
You fixed. Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Exactly. Just put it in every box. We don't want a dime. Just put it in every box.
Every time they announce something that people are like, come on, Nintendo, you're doing so good. Phil, right in that DM, I can fix that.
Put that right in that box.
I want to give you the floor here. I mean, we've been riding that train from day one.
God.
So it's good to see, you know what I'm saying? We out here doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
So
I have to
say
say,
when
like,
you heard about the GOAT of the US. The
Well,
most
I hate to interrupt Sav real quick, man, but I'm real lightheaded. I got to get off.
Oh,
this,
now he's
man.
sick.
I'm not feeling well at all.
Oh, okay.
I hope you feel better, man. That flu that's going around is terrible.
Going around is terrible.
Like
Yeah.
I literally just forced myself to work for 4 hours feeling
No,
like
bro.
this.
Get
Yo,
some rest.
try to get some Mucin. This is not a shameless plug. Try to get some Mucinex DM. That one actually has been helping me out because I've been having to make it to work every night and check on these guys and do this stuff. And if it wasn't for that DM, man, I swear I would not have been making it. So
Yeah, feel better, Lord Addict, man. Get some rest, man.
Right.
We got you, bro. We got your back.
but I like this flu. This flu has got you agreeing with me. So I think you should stay sick a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's the most I agreed on one podcast.
I need him to be sick at least for 2 more weeks.
Salute the Lord Addict, man. Get better, bro. Lord Soul,
get
back
better.
to the floor to you as far as our celebration lap in 2017.
So I have to say, like, my feelings were a little hurt that we lost MPD, like, in November. It bothered me.
I wanted to put the boot on.
That's the Quinine, brother. That's the Quinine.
Yeah.
I swear that's the Quinine. You won. Okay, you listen, man. I'm telling you something, and you better listen to this, man. You won every month before that, right? You won the month after that, right? The build-up was that 1 month, right? What the hell went wrong? What did you do different in that 1 month? Nothing, brother.
I'm gonna get you in the room with Lord Brap, Matt Piscatella. He's gonna break down the Sony numbers.
Nigga, I saw Matt Piscatella with the Skyrim on the train. Listen, man.
Lord King refuses to believe Sony won that ball.
No, man, Sony did not win. Some numbers is something's up, man. And I'm gonna find out what's going on over there.
Lord Soft, continue.
So,
On our victory lap, please.
But these numbers made me feel considerably better. I remember way back early in the year before the Switch launch, we had Lord Cal on, and Lord Cal was vehemently
we heard it from Lord Cal. That was the Xbox Mafia Family podcast. Me and Lord Soft, I gotta jump in, Lord Soft. Cal he was like, they're not gonna be a factor. No one's gonna pick you up. Lord Cal, I gotta come for you on this, man. You my man, you the tick balls. But me and Saul was riding. Everybody look it up. You go to ILP archives. I believe it's the ILP E3 prediction show with Microsoft. We had Lord Cal, we had Lord Tim Dog on the show, and we were calling it then. So back even when B Money was called, we was calling it. And we were like, yo, Microsoft better stop playing around because Nintendo's coming around the back door.
My exact words were Nintendo is back in the building.
Yes.
You have to be wary of their potential for making money. Like they just if they give you a quality product, they're gonna make money. And they're gonna make a lot of it. And it was just a matter of whether the product was gonna be quality or not. And so to me, it makes perfect sense. Like the numbers that they're showing in Japan make sense because Japan is very portable centric now. They would not have fallen in line for a true home console again. Yeah, you would not see these numbers if the Switch was not a hybrid console. I agree.
B Money. I don't hate the Switch, bro. I love the Switch. I have a Switch. I have all the games for the Switch, or all the games that's relevant, except for that shovelware crap.
He's talking about Cal. He's talking.
Oh,
about
okay, okay. All right, because I really love the Switch.
Wait, you can't be sick and then in the chat hating on our Switch victory lap. Go to sleep, put some Vicks on your neck, and stop hating on our victory lap. Continue,
he didn't want to hear it because your victory lap was making him sick.
That Switch made him dizzy. That's what made him dizzy. The Switch numbers.
He can't be in there. He can't. That's a bad look. That's a bad look at it.
Oh my God.
The power of Nintendo, man. When Nintendo has a quality product, they know they know how to make money off of it. Despite still making mistakes that we look at like, huh?
Like, you know, like despite probably not having as many consoles in the wild as it, like, despite still not fixing their online issues, despite still not fixing their storage issues, like there's still stuff with the machine that makes you kind of scratch your head.
They the PUBG of systems.
Yeah. But that portability, it allows them to be in the conversation without being in the conversation. Yeah, it's nobody's looking at it as, oh, this is a 3-tiered thing now. Whereas before, when they looked at it and they all had to compete on the same level, Nintendo could just not compete anymore. Once after the GameCube, it was obvious that the market could not withstand 3 pure home consoles. It wasn't going to happen because Nintendo's first party output was never going to be enough to sustain a home console on its own without true third-party support. So this is something I hope they see this and realize that this should be the way they operate moving forward. I don't want to see the next game, the next system after Switch.
No, literally, I feel this is the form factor. I'm I'm glad you said that. This is the form factor they need to keep.
They're not going to do that.
Yep.
They don't need to do out the box again.
Come on, you know it's you know it already. So stop it. I'm gonna tell you right now. So stop it. You know it already. All right. So they're gonna come out with a triangle system. The next system is gonna be a triangle. You can dream what you like. The next system is gonna be a triangle system with a circle controller. So just
you know what though?
I've said it before.
History is right.
I've said it. I'm not confident in their ability to get out of their own way and see where the way forward is. They've always said they consider themselves tinkerers and toy makers before anything else. Yeah,
sometimes it's fake creativity for no reason. Sometimes.
Listen. They want to make that system that failed, that what was it, the 3D system, the Virtual Boy. They want to make that a thing. So soon you're gonna be able to plug yourself into your system.
Shout out to Megatron Lex because they said the Switch XL, the true 4K handheld, coming soon. I will say this: I think we'll get a revision. I agree with B Money's on it. I think we're gonna get a 2.0. Yeah, I think.
Well, I mean, all I got to do is to do the Tegra 2 system chipset inside the system. It's really not too hard. It's just the Tegra 2 system. The chipset.
They made NVIDIA, so NVIDIA has all the incentive in the world to say, "Let's re-up Tegra 2, more power. Please keep the same form factor, and they can rock for enough 5 joints with that." You know what I mean?
Salty, I got a question for you. Being that that you were on, and I mean, everybody here, be honest with you. Do you think, this is just throwing it out there. Do you think with the GPUs, knowing that NVIDIA's 1080s and 1080 Ti's and everything like that has won the GPU wars in this generation, do you think to get an edge in power, Sony goes that route? Just throwing it out there, just a question. On the GPU itself, that's it.
Honestly, I don't know, man. I think they might, but like I said, I think the focus will be CPU on the next system. So they might go that route. Plus, the upgrade to the Ryzen. So
to the Ryzen, yeah, we all figured that the Ryzen will be the next iteration of the CPUs for everybody.
With the Switch upgrades, do you guys think it's going to be a straight upgrade to the the tablet, or are they going to try to update that dock system? Like, where do you see the upgrades coming in?
I think the dock system has to be smaller because they've already seen third parties be able to do it. I don't see why you're going to give me another bulky dock that I can't see the screen, and it just doesn't make any sense. So hopefully they've taken that into account, and I certainly hope something smaller, more portable, and the machine is more powerful. And give me use the fact that the machine, you have these, the interchangeable Wiimotes and stuff like that. Like you could improve upon aspects of the machine while still keeping the core of the machine. And so,
to me, they got the formula, man. They got the form factor down.
I think
beautiful tech.
I think they can do the upgraded system like the XL. And give you like that little booster chip inside the back for the boost for certain games, like they've been doing with the 3DS and the 3D XL. You know, like with this little if you use amiibos with the 3DS, certain ones weren't able to use amiibos, so you had to get this reader, this NFC reader, separately. So they could have that. You know, like if you don't have that upgraded system, that you could use this chipset inside of it or whatever, some little extra, piece to it.
And just real quick before we finish up the Switch, we got a big January Direct coming. So just obviously Amazon, they had leaked all these placeholder of these games. You know, what are we expecting? What do you think they need to do to continue that momentum from the title standpoint? Like, what do you feel? Lord, let me go with Lord King, because I know you're kind of cool on them. What would get you excited?
I'm actually pretty excited with what their lineup is going to be in the coming futures of the F-Zeros and stuff like that.
In the chat. I'm done. Continue.
Yeah. So you never know. You might get a chicken dinner on that system. It's not saying that you can't do it. Just put it on a low spec PC. But just you got to refine it completely.
Make it sell.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. Make it Fortnite. Hello. My thing is, they have enough IPs to keep me interested all the way through. They kept me very enthused this year with arguably games of the year for me. That Mario was insane. The Zelda is insane. I could have did without that little fake boxing crap game that they put out. That fake game. I want my money back for that.
Oh, you mean Arms?
I want my money back for Arms.
Yeah, give us Punch Out this year. I want some Punch Out.
We need that Punch Out.
Yeah. Oh, could you imagine Punch Out? Like really? Like you can swing your arms. I mean, really good game.
Shout out to Big Money and want that GTA 5 too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. I'm sorry.
Just for the numbers, because we know what you.
No, yeah, for your guys. Yeah, for you guys. I do not care about that. If I don't got it on my X, for a fact I'm not buying it on that thing. So. But yeah, I'm looking forward to their IPs that they drop. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a steady stream of them. The Kirby's, the Yoshis and stuff like that. That stuff.
Smash Bros.
Yeah, I will play Anchorman and Smash Bros. I will give my social security number out for that.
No doubt. Lord Salt, what would it take for you to pick up a Switch? What do you need?
Halo.
Man, I've been talking. The party system, man, is a huge drawback for me. And then the way you have to invite your friends, you have to give them a code.
Lord Salt, you don't want my social security number, Lord Salt? Is that what you're trying to say?
And you guys heard that they're not going to be putting out a 64 gig game card until 2019, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge thing, man.
Yeah.
So in order for them to get Doom on the system, they had to split it. They had to do some magic voodoo work in the back corner or something like that. Get half on, ship it in 2 parts. The campaign was on the game card and multiplayer was a separate download. I think that's going to be an issue because they're getting more third-party support, but man, that's a huge drawback, So, I want to see more third-party support, but I think they'll try to come up with some resolutions for this. But they have one of the other things that I have a gripe with is them coming out with these mini systems, like the NES and the Super Nintendo, and they're going to be coming out with 4.
I love those.
It would have been awesome. It would have been awesome for them to have backwards compatibility.
Thank you. Give me my damn virtual console, please.
No.
Have all the games there for you to be able to play. I mean, you could pay for them; they can make money, and that would be a huge thing for them to kind of spread out and then give people what they
financially is better for me.
If they are gonna finally give us virtual console this year, they better do it fast because
you're not doing it. You're not getting it. I told you.
It's been hacked. So if the rumors are to be believed, people are going to be able to put unsigned code onto that system very soon.
Oh, that's nice, and that's when it's really going to sell. If you're thinking it's selling now, if you think it is remotely that it's sold now, forget about it once it gets hacked.
No, I mean,
and they got homebrew on it.
No, I feel what you're saying. Lost Salt's got a good point because I think for the hardcore like him, in order for him to get, I think if you hear an announcement of a dedicated online proper infrastructure with a dedicated friend list and real chat. And I think achievements would that kind of entice you?
Microsoft has
I would
all
pick it
of
up,
that.
bro.
Got you.
Yeah.
I'd pick it up.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, I think that's what's just holding the hardcore back. I mean, once they have those basic quality of life features, Grandpa,
Microsoft has available. You're already in bed with them now. Holla at them.
Holla at them. So that's what I got on the Switch. If anybody else wants to jump in, we're gonna move this thing on. And actually, this was a late breaking. Digital Foundry is in the news.
Mr. Ledbetter.
Mr. Ledbetter and these are famous Brits who are prone to rip your resolution and your frame rate if your game ain't up to snuff. Apparently, the game in question is a game called Redout. And apparently it got an Xbox One X enhancement. And, Digital Foundry put a video up and pretty much, basically saying that it didn't hit the target, that it didn't scale. And pretty much the CEO of Redout, I cannot pronounce this gentleman's name correctly, but I'm going to try. It's Valerio Di Donato. Right. And he basically came out with a statement, and he was just like, waking up to a S-storm raging upon you. He said, basically, what I can call Digital Foundry's technical analysis at best is fake news.
It's on.
Yeah, he bust his gun early. He said it might have been a competent source. They might have been a competent source of technical information in the past, but it's currently going down the clickbaiting path. Another shots fired at Digital Foundry. He said they published an opinionated video, which they talked about the Xbox One X version of Redout, saying that it mentioned that it just shows 1080p rendering. He said that is a straight lie. He goes to break down, how it scales in resolution between 90% and 50% of native 4K. He goes further into the technical details, and he's threatening legal action against Digital Foundry. Now, since then, I believe it was yesterday or this morning, I forgot when it was, maybe yesterday, Digital Foundry account actually tweeted, and they actually said that there was an oversight. They actually added the actual dev. I believe the dev's name, company's 34 Big Things, and just said that they're going to be correcting this information that was put out.
It's an oversight. I saw the video. Oversight.
Yeah. So the damage has been done. As far as the negative pub, because obviously the dev was getting killed on Twitter. People were saying you guys are lazy. How in the hell is the Xbox One X version not optimized? The typical lazy port kind of.
They gotta sue. You gotta get blood. I mean, I want y'all to get blood. I want y'all to sue. I want you to sue, because what I've been watching and I've been noticing the narrative. Anytime a little pro is trying to do this little moving his little shoulder lean, saying the pro was doing it. What's up with the X? Oh, what's going on? I just turned the channel because I said it's bogus, it's fake news. I know you're lying, and now you've been caught out there. And I'm so happy that your hands in the cookie jar and you about to get sued, Mr. Ledbetter. You about to be sued.
Well, we got to see if they even have the grounds. There was a good discussion.
I saw the grounds.
Shout out to Angerman, I believe, a couple other people. They were going at it is to see if if these guys at 3-4 Big Things have the litigation, if they have the standing to be able to sue these guys. So I want to bring this to the Lords. First, we do know, the importance of Digital Foundry and how, their reporting is very integral to a title. So now that this news is coming out and it seems to be incorrect, what do we feel about this? Lord King, you have a lot to say. So
there is no Santa. There is no Santa.
What do you feel about it?
We sat here, we was believing these dudes. We believe wholeheartedly, because Digital Foundry, hey, tune into Digital Foundry, because Digital Foundry told the truth. And we sat there and we had to eat that. Digital Foundry said it. It's the truth. It's the truth, Digital Foundry. And you know what I love? I love the fact that Phil went over to these dudes and he set these dudes up. He put them on the pedestal because he knew behind the lines they lying. So we're gonna put the target on their back.
Oh my God! So this is Phil's master plan.
Listen. He's the overseer. Whoa. So the little hand is behind their back. They're little muñecos, they're little puppets, right? They're sitting there and they got fed the bad biscuit. They took the bait. And they ran out there. It was like, listen, the pro. I could not believe. I was disgusted too, because I wanted to see me that game. It kind of hurt my heart. It hurt my heart. So to wake up and the tweet, okay, it was the tweets that I woke up to, and it was the DMs from Lord Cognito. Lord Cognito blew my phone up. He said they've been busted. And he put, see, we got this little thing called the quinine, right? So he put the little quinine. I am so happy right now that the developer said, yeah, you know, we'll have to sue these dudes, and they fake news. So now this gives the lane to any up and coming Digital Foundry type company, video bloggers or whatever, to come out with their channel to show that, listen, we have credibility here. We can show you running at the same, to show that there's nothing behind the gate. We're holding nothing back. We're unbiased. To give you another opinion instead of one definitive place that you go to that has to be the end-all, be-all. So this allows the lane to open up for more people to come in and to give you their opinions or their facts.
No doubt, no doubt. Lord Salt, I need your opinion on this. Ever since this news broke with Digital Foundry, possible lawsuit, and Redout.
Man, I've seen people with torches and they want blood on social media, man. I don't know, like, okay, I don't know how Digital Foundry got to this point. We all know their rise, right? They become the end-all, be-all for analysis on games, and it's gotten to the point where when the X was coming out, they were looking at the X first. And that was kind of the mode for Xbox to get their word out almost. You know, people were like, Digital Foundry is doing a better job than in marketing than Xbox. And it's like to show the difference there because they didn't want to do it themselves. But the problem that I have is they're a YouTube channel, you know, they want to make money. It's like they talked about how they're turning it into clickbait. It's like, yeah, they're clickbaiting people because they want to make money. So when this happens and they get exposed for making a mistake, because it's not the first time that they have made a mistake, they've had to, you know, retract some situations.
Yes. Then
people start questioning your credibility as a source. And when that happens, it's a very sticky, it's a tricky subject for them because like once you see analysis on things, you're going to question it, right? You're going to be like, is this true or is it fake? Because you guys screwed up, right? So before this point, people went to them as the end all be all source for, you know, analyzing video games and all that. But I think after this point, people are going to start looking maybe for other sources or, you know, question their credibility altogether. And that's bad for them, you know?
Yeah,
so absolutely. We'll see, man.
Now, let me ask you this. You made a good point, Lord Salt, in reference to like the clickbait stuff. And I always felt this in the back of my mind. I mean, it goes down to, wait till we get to the poll later, but it's like, it goes down to like what drives traffic. And they have their finger on the pulse of what's going on with the console wars, right? They have their finger on the pulse of what fanboys care about. People want to tune into that video and see what version is running better, who has the better frame rate, who has the better resolution. And that's a point of contention, and that drives traffic. So when you have that platform, you got to be careful, man. Like your I's got to be dotted, your T's got to be crossed. You know, like shout out to Irrelevant Native in the chat. Controversy drives traffic, and they're guilty of that to some respect. We have to put that on them a little bit, you know.
Yeah, because let's be honest. You know, PlayStation has the player base, right? They're over 70 million. The Xbox One X is a more powerful system in every way, right? So I don't know if their views are going down or what, like, because they're coming out with these videos that people know what's going to happen. It's like people going into a movie, like we said, they know the ending of the movie, so why would they click on your video? Exactly. The X is more powerful. It's like, well, surprise, no one cares, right? So, you know. So it's like, I think they're just kind of fishing for that clickbait narrative. It's like, oh shit, we're catching the X in this one game that it sucks at, and then it wasn't true, right? Yeah. So I don't know, man.
I think
Lord Soft, jump in.
I think that's a little unfair, man. Like, we can't selectively pick when we think Digital Foundry is not being objective or not. I mean, in the beginning, at the start of the generation, it was all about, it was resolution gate, and PlayStation was running circles around, and they were just telling the truth. When they got their hands on the X, they were very objective about saying how powerful the system is.
Okay, you know, Lord Sovereign, I got to say this, and I don't mean to cut you off, though, but in the beginning of the generation, they just put up 2 consoles. They put up the PlayStation, and they put up the regular Xbox, and they knew that the regular Xbox was coming in short. But then, once the X started once there was the X and it was the Pro, then all of a sudden the PC comes into play. Who's this guy? Where was he 5 seconds ago?
I'd like to know. But if you think about it, it's if you look at it, if you're looking at a 1080 like you know what, a 1080 Ti versus an Xbox, it's obvious. Anybody who knows anything about it, it's obvious that it's going to be more powerful. I'm interested in seeing how close the Xbox One X gets to it. So I don't see it as a negative when you put it up against the PC, because they're not saying. I don't see it as a negative.
You don't see it as a negative. I see it as another narrative of pushing my brother back into the corner. No, it's my brother's time to shine. Put him up against the dude that was running his mouth before. It's these two. It's not 2 fighters and a referee fighting. No, man. The ref is gonna win, bro.
I agree that they know full well how much they're eating off of this. They know that, right? At the same time, there are tech dudes who pride themselves on their knowledge of this stuff. I don't think they're purposely going to put stuff out there just to create beef. This is what they do. Like within that, they know they're going to get clicks on it. But I think within that, they want to put out stuff that they believe in, right? They don't want to put out stuff that are straight up lies.
My thing is just keep it at the X and the Pro. That's it. And if you want to do the whole X versus the PC, do that segment. We already know what's going to win in that segment.
Exactly. But I'd like to see how close that X comes to the PC.
Yeah, good. Do the X versus the PC over there. But let's get this win over there. See, what I'm trying to explain to you.
So, okay.
Give me my win. Because I've been taking these losses for so long. Like, brother, I've been watching this stupid ass channel for so long, watching them beat down my Xbox with the 720 madness. Yeah,
but we talked about this.
No, I want my win.
For the next year, at least, or more, or 2 years, we're gonna be seeing them PlayStation taking the L's. We're gonna be seeing that, right? This is the thing that pisses me off about this. The developer is kind of
Thank you, Fonzarelli. Sorry. Thank you, Fonzarelli.
Fonzarelli on the donation. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Oh, no doubt.
Appreciate that.
So much. Yeah. When the Lord's
work. The developer jumped the gun. Like he went at them like with the clickbaity stuff. It's kind of ridiculous, because at the same time, they came right back and they said, you know what? We got the info from VG Tech. The resolution is scaling, is dynamic. It goes from this range to this range. It doesn't stay stagnant 1080p. Our bad. Now, afterwards, the developer goes and says, "Yeah, but the issues with the frame rate are true. Like we're not hitting 60 frames per second in the X1 X in the patch for the Xbox One X. They're still not hitting the 60 frames per second that they promised. So, you know what I'm saying, you can't pick and choose what part of the argument you're gonna be pissed off about. Like,
no, the argument I'm pissed off about is head up, right? Do the head up. When you want to do head up with the PC versus the Xbox, fine, do that. If I want to choose to look at that, no, I want my win. Give me my win off of this, and then
I'm not talking about you though. I'm not talking about you picking and choosing. I'm talking about the developer picking and choosing what part of the argument he's pissed off about.
Oh no. Listen. If they misrepresented you in any form or fashion, then you have a grounds to state your opinion, right? Your opinion or fact, they're in. But if some of it is real and some of it is fake, you state that in your little thing that you put out there. Who else donated?
Shout out Irrelevant. Thank you so much.
Irrelevant. Thank you, guys.
You got the collection plate going on in the church right now. We really appreciate y'all.
Oh man, thank you. Y'all must really like me going in on Ledbetter. I'm gonna go in on Ledbetter every weekend then.
The phone said, Matt King, he said your win was the 360 era. You got to hold that. He said
I feel you. That was a nice win. Actually, if you really look at it, it wasn't a real win because the PlayStation caught up at the end. Like I feel we'll catch up at the end of this one. But no, man, come on, man. Let the two dudes fight it out and let the loser walk with that L. I want them to hold that L until that PlayStation 5 come out. Hold these L's, man.
And they will. I think for the most part they will. Anything third party, they will. I think this is a game that like we saw with Titanfall at the beginning. the patch is somewhat unoptimized. It's not 100% ready, and they jumped on it early, and there was still work that needed to be done on it. It is what it is. You know,
I mean, shout out to Lord Fonz early in the chat. I mean, he made a good point. Traditionally, they're humans. They make mistakes. Things happen. You know what I'm saying? Do we think that they maliciously went out there to go in on them? You know what I'm saying? But
I don't know what's in that man's heart.
You don't know what's in that man's heart. But here's the thing: like, ultimately, it's one of those things that I do like that this situation happened because it shows that one, they're not above being checked. And they're not above reproach. So I like when everybody gets questioned now because people now, they're going in on EA, they're going in on Bungie, with Destiny. Anything you put in your game or any type of comment or assessments you make, they got to get checked. You know what I'm saying? But they got to hold SL. You know what I mean? It is what it is. The question I would have asked real quick to throw back to y'all, let's just say they didn't apologize or whatever. I want to know, like, do you really think 34 Big Things could have a legal leg to stand on? Because I mean, from a legal standpoint, you don't think they could try to say like they did everything?
They can't.
To our reputation.
No, I don't think so.
What you think?
But what I do think they could do is put these tiki torches dudes to action. I don't think in a courtroom they could win anything.
Yeah, the way the developer argued it was like, it's really unfair that we're being called lazy, this, that, and the other. So the way they said it was inferred that Digital Foundry in the video said they were lazy, which they would never do. So it was the hate they were getting on Twitter and everything from people that were like, sending Twitter messages like, this is lazy, this is unacceptable, this, that, and the other. So he just woke up to all that hate. And he's so pissed off that they misrepresented the game in that fashion. So he's like, all his anger is directed at them.
But here's the thing, though. This is where I want to defend him. Because shout out to Lord Anchorman in the chat. Shout out to Lex Hazard. Y'all got the collection.
Lex Hazard, what's going on, baby?
Oh man,
this conversation must be it, huh?
Absolutely, we passing that collection plate around. We appreciate.
Thank you guys, man.
Thank you.
You know what I think, though? I think he don't got a leg to stand on, right? But I think that patch is coming next week where it's going to be a solid 60 and a locked-in 4K.
Here's my thing. I hear what y'all saying. Like, Lord Anchorman, I hear what you're saying. They probably don't have a leg to stand on legally, right? I get it. But we have to admit this, right? If your game is ripped on Digital Foundry in this era, do you know how much damage that does to your marketing? Because we all praised Microsoft when they went to Digital Foundry and said, hey, give them the Xbox One X reveal. That's free marketing, right, Lord Salt? We were like, for the most part, we were like, it was a good idea, right? It was good. It was smart. So could you imagine, like, if Microsoft gave it and they had incorrect information? And they're like, it doesn't do this. Like, could you? But that's a lot of damage on a marketing level. Lord Salt, what do you think?
Come on, man. Y'all gonna make me cry today, man. Come on, man.
He put Switch Gang on his, so you gotta accept that one.
First of all, I didn't even know who 34BT was before all this, So I think that lawyers can do magic in the law, when it comes to law and get people paid, but I think they're just trying to get it. I mean, they're getting free press, free attention. So even if they don't, get anything done in the court of law, I think they still win, right? Because they're getting attention all over social media. They're getting attention on this game. I don't know, man. I think the people that lose are Digital Foundry, and I think that what you were saying about consumers being more educated, that needs to go for everything, because you can make a change in all aspects. We saw it with EA. We're seeing it with this. These people got to be they put out there, and that should be the message that we focus on, right?
No, you're making a good point, man. Valid points. I thought it was interesting, this whole fiasco. Real quick. So we ran a little over. It was a long episode. I already know. We're probably gonna save. I had the 2018 thing saved, but we're going a little bit over. I might say that for next week, as far as 2018, as far as each platform, what we want and stuff like that. But anything else? Anyone else got anything left for Digital Foundry before we wrap up and get to the polls and the closing?
better. You got them other dudes out there. Calvin got a team. He trying to get them together to start doing these games, man. I'm telling you now, do not let it be a 2-horse race where people can get channels to go to get the information on which system is running this better, which system is running that better.
If anything, this causes them to have to tighten their game up, because at the moment they mentioned VG Tech in the article as saying, "Oh, they got this part right," then immediately people are going to start going to VG Tech to see what kind of how their content is. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, shout out to Foundry in the chat too. I'm continue. I'm sorry, who I cut off.
No, they just got to tighten up now. So that's a win-win for everybody, because they're gonna have to tighten up how they
What's it really? What you want to make a grown man cry? Oh,
the Lord's a feeling the sermon today, man. It's appreciated. It's definitely appreciated. Absolutely. We're gonna wrap this thing soon. Real quick, Foundry, we got to get you on the show, man, because you said some stuff about media bias I want to get into too. You have my mind going, so there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about with that. We're gonna wrap this up, but we got an ILP poll that we got to get into. It's a new one of the week. So basically, it's in the resolution era of gaming with 1080p versus 720p, and now true 4K versus dynamic checkerboarding 4K. Are gaming executives wrong for engaging their fan base on these subjects? A, yes, it's in bad taste and promotes console war nonsense. B, no, purely marketing. Stay out of your feelings. Or C, I don't care as long as my side is winning. That is the question. Those are the choices. Please rock the vote. Hit the ILP Twitter polls. That's hard when it goes up. Probably going to put it up tomorrow. So again, we're going to talk about that resolution. Shout out to Lord Salt, man, for coming through, you know what I'm saying, at the round table. Much appreciated, man. And
man, it's been a blast, dude. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. I mean, you guys signify what I like in gaming. Just having a fun time and, just shooting the shit, man. That's what it's all about, right?
Yes, sir.
Much appreciated. Always a pleasure. We love what we saw like your entire almost except all digital. We had the whole Loot Chest radio in the chat today.
Oh yeah, bro. We had the Saltiest podcast crew in here. We had Loot Chest radio, bro. We had some other people that I follow, and they follow me on Twitter. So it's been a party, man. The chat's been lit. Prop to you guys.
Thank you so much for the
thanks, Salty.
Yeah, thanks, so where can the find you, and also like what you got cooking up to let the people know? Get your plug on, man.
Okay. Saltiest podcast is moving. What is it? Back an hour. It's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern instead of 9 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be lit. It's going to be awesome tonight, man.
Okay.
We have the guest is going to be Irrelevant Native. He was in the chat. He's an awesome guy.
He was lit in the chat. I like him. Yeah,
he's a dope guy. He's been doing debates when it comes to religion in real life. So he's well spoken. He's a cool dude. I've been gaming with him. We've made a good friendship. Nice. Punk Kiddish Gaming is going to be a permanent member. We had someone leave due to scheduling. So it's going to be an awesome first episode of 2018. We had to take a couple weeks off because it fell on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, but it is going to be lit. So stay tuned for that. And moving forward, I'm just going to be getting content out like I always do, but we're going to be improving upon that content because it's always a constant learning process when it comes to YouTube. So I'm focusing on making my videos better on the daily, and then we're going to be doing game reviews and maybe some playthroughs if I can get that going.
Nice, that's what's
up. So I'm also on X Power on Monday. So stay tuned for that. And Loot Chest Radio is different. I think some people. It's not focused on YouTube like the live streams. We do pre-recorded stuff, so you could catch that, and it's going to be on all the podcast availabilities, on demand. So that's with Jay Fons. He's been in the chat. He's awesome, and Brap, and we got All Day Digital there. So yeah, that was long-winded, but that's where you can find me. Saltiest Gaming, 2 words. You can find me on Twitter. Sorry, the I is a 1. I love to talk to people on social media, so hit me up there. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Pleasure, man. Love what you're doing out here. Like I said, we're going to make sure everyone hit that subscribe button again. Really support this guy, man. Just to see his rise, his passion for gaming, and what he's doing out there with the Saltiest Podcast, X Power, Loot Chest Radio, all our peeps, and it's just good stuff. It's good to see like-minded people, and Definitely appreciate you. We're definitely gonna have you back. You know that.
Awesome.
You already know. So let's get these outros popping. Lord Solve, where can the fine people find you?
Yeah, everybody can find me on Twitter, Lord Solve ILP, and on Xbox and PlayStation, BX Sovereign. And a big shout out to Lord Salt, man. That was for coming on and helping us start the year off right, lit like as always. So and that was fantastic.
No doubt, we threw some salt on it for the new year. That's right. Lord King, where can the fine people find you, sir?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. But I want to give a shout out to Lord Salty. I met Lord Salty in the next podcast. Me and him did the next podcast with my boy Xbot.
Yeah. Shout out Xbot.
And
Yep.
I love his energy. His energy is not overt, is not submissive. It's in the pocket, and he plays it in the pocket. And his opinion is very strong without being, overbearing, and it's very. The thoughts behind it comes across very well, and I couldn't wait, for today, and I knew the podcast was going to go great just because he was going to be here. So thank you for coming through. I do appreciate you coming through. I had a great time with you then. I have a great time with you now. Guys, we're gonna get this boxing and all this stuff coming. We got Errol Spence. You ready to get it on? We should have some more UFC this week. I'll be on the top of my game. Chris Cyborg had me kind of messed up for a minute.
we got Francis Ngannou versus Miocic.
Ooh, that's gonna be crazy.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be crazy.
Farms on that show because he talks MMA too and boxing. So we gonna have to get him on one of them shows for that when we had that match goes down. That's a big one.
Yes, sir. So all right, guys, and Cognito, let's do it, baby.
You already know. And like I said, Lord Cognito here with the gaming realness was spent on the ILP. Told you what you wanted to hear, but what you needed to hear. Thanks again, Lord Salty, for coming through. Everybody in the chat, man, you have no idea. It's so appreciated. Just that you guys missed us and just to see the support, man. It really means a lot to us. And, we're not the biggest, but we're growing and it really felt good, man, just to see that people really miss hearing us talk gaming and having fun and all that good stuff. So y'all hit the like, y'all hit the subscribe. Make sure you support the Inner Circle Media, all the other outlets. We got the Multiverse on deck tomorrow, Lord Anchor, man. Make sure you check those guys out. They got some cool stuff going. And yeah, man, it's good to be back. New year, new day, and we're gonna get this thing popping. We got a lot of stuff cooking for you. So you guys have a good one. Enjoy your Sunday. And on that note, we are out. Peace.
Yeah.